The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is Aaron Rodgers, Tuesday, January 18th, 2022, and the divisional round is officially set.
Yeah!
That's right, on Monday Night Football, the wild card weekend wrapped up while the Cardinals got dog walked in Los Angeles by the Rams, who appear to be all the way back. Their superstars are playing fantastic. Odell Beckham Jr. is catching touchdowns. He's throwing balls. He's blocking. He's celebrating. He's having his best life, enjoying the hell out of winning football in Los Angeles with Matthew Stafford as his quarterback. Matthew Stafford has posted like the greatest game in the history of postseason and his first ever postseason victory after playing for 15, 16 years, however long it is, in the NFL. Congratulations to Matthew Stafford. Hey. Watched along with the Manning cast a little bit. Obviously, Peyton not hearing shit was hysterical. The Rock explaining that he had an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex in his office, I guess, over his shoulder. There was 3 Terramana bottles.
What?
XFL ball.
What?
An incredibly chiseled man.
What?
And then a fucking actual Tyrannosaurus Rex over his left shoulder.
Wow.
His name is Stan. He said it's the most intact T-Rex on the market or in existence. He bought it as an anonymous buyer. I guess people are saying like $31.8 million, the entire thing.
Wow.
Congrats to The Rock, just killing life.
Boy, Dewey.
Killing life. After the Cardinals, immediately threw a pick six, the shortest pick six in the history of the playoffs. That was shortly after The Rock gave a motivational speech to the Arizona Cardinals about having their back against the wall and that mentality, and then immediate pick six. The Rock says, might as well give me a little Terramana.
What?
That thing down. What a night for The Rock. And you know what? Dewey followed me on Twitter last night.
Hey, that's big.
I don't know how long that'll last. Obviously, we're about to unload a bunch of uploaded videos into his timeline today that he has never seen before. And I don't know how much of me The Rock will be able to handle. We assume this fellowship will not be for long. But Dewey, shout out to you for going on to Manning Cast. Seemed like you understood football a little bit, loved football a little bit, and looked like a regular human, even though he's worth like $15, $20 billion.
Yeah, of course.
This
You
guy,
kidding me? Look
he's
at him.
wrong.
Slugging tequila.
Oh, this guy.
Come on.
Wow.
It was fun Monday Night Football for everybody but Cardinals fans. And I hate to break it to Cardinals fans. I don't know what's up with your team. They have stunk. They have looked uninspired. They have looked like they were not supposed to be on the same field as some teams. When at the beginning of the season, they went on a run that made us feel like, oh my God, this Cardinal squad is the squad that we thought they could be last year when they were playing their best football. They were beating teams. They didn't seem satisfied. Kyler Murray was giving interviews. He was awesome. We're just trying to win. We're trying to win. He told us we got to work on consistency because last year they were a team that was up and down and up and down. This year they just started climbing and climbing and climbing. DeAndre Hopkins gets hurt. They have a bye week, and everything changes. They come back on the other side of that thing. J.J. Watt also hurt on the defensive side of the ball. The fact that he got back,
Wow. Impressed job, JJ.
didn't play as much as we maybe expected or thought or hoped that he would play, but also in the same vein, the amount of misery that dude has gone through in rehab over the last couple months to get back. I'm happy that he got a chance to get back on the field. Seemed like he was incredibly pumped while he was sitting on like 14, 15 Gatorade coolers before the game with cool-ass sunglasses on. I'm pumped for J.J. Watt to get back. Sorry that the season ended that way, but they need to figure it the fuck out over there because there's injuries in every single season in every single building. The fact that as soon as Nuke seemed to get injured, that entire team looked vastly different on defenses or on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to have to figure that out as they go forward. People are talking about Cliff Kingsbury. What the hell's going on with him? In the first, I guess, like 7 or 10 games of the season, his record is something that is just absurd. And then at the end of seasons, it's terrible. So does that mean the teams are catching on to his plays early? Is this the new Andy Reid season?
Yes.
Remember back in the day, Andy Reid would win like the first 11 weeks. And in the back half of the season, he would start losing and there'd be an early playoff exit. And we thought it was a chance that Andy Reid would unload all of his plays early, and then boom, he gets stagnant towards the end, they'd beat him. Now, it might have been just the fact that he didn't have all the players that he needed to continue to evolve and build plays and make plays late into the season. And obviously, Andy Reid's season has now become a playoff type conversation with that Chiefs squad who are just fucking around out there. Travis Kelce's just having the time of his life, and they're starting to win again. But maybe Cliff Kingsbury early gives everything up like Andy used to, and then everybody gets used to it, and then there's no adjustments late. Or maybe the team walks on the field and just looks completely different than they look at the beginning of the season. What the fuck's going on behind the scenes? At Tone Diggs, one half of the hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, you're going to say something.
I have that. 2019 lost 7 of the last 9. 2020 lost 5 of the last 7. 2021 lost 5 of the last 6.
Ooh. That's not good.
Yikes. One of them to the Lions.
That is not good. And what is it? Is it the plays? Is it the players? Is it the coach? Is it the building? Is it the culture? Is it a combination of everything like that? That team has everything you need to go. They got a great city. Hey, great city. I fucking love that place. I love that place.
Fantastic.
They have a great city. The owner flying his plane around, picking people up, opening the checkbook. So it seems like the owner is going, hey, we'll give whatever. They got a young superstar quarterback. They seem to have an offense that works at the beginning of the season. They have a defense that's loaded. Buda Baker, I just saw his Instagram story. He is good. He is recovering. He's still in the hospital. Hasn't been able to shower yet, he said.
Okay.
He said, I stink. I just want to get home back to Arizona with my family. But thanked everybody for their well wishes. Hell of a season, Buda. That's an absolute stud in the back end for the Arizona team. But that defense is unbelievable. You'd think they'd be able to go. This is a disappointing ending for them for sure. But on the flip side, I guess we got to compliment the Rams. At Ty Schmidt, Green Bay Packer owner, man who got to see Matthew Stafford in Detroit for all those years. You got to be pumped up for this guy, old 9, getting a chance to get a dub in the big time, prime time playoff lights.
Yeah, you know, I love Stafford. He's like, I've been right on that train with, hey, people don't understand how good this guy is. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean his team's going to win the games all the time, because we've seen plenty of times where he'll throw 3 touchdowns against the Packers, and like clockwork, you know, a pick six is coming. That's just going to break the Lions' back, which happened many a times. But last night, shit, he only threw 17 times. I mean, Cam Akers he's a dog. So him getting back, if OBJ's playing like that and Cooper Kupp, like they did look very good last night. But I think a lot of that is too that the Cardinals just didn't fucking show up at all.
And Dirty is our graphics department. Yeah, Zito makes graphics.
Yeah,
too.
Gump's
Not
tossed
really.
a few together.
Gump does some clip. Anyways, Dirty, who does most of the graphics, he's a Rams fan. Okay, so he's pumped, obviously. Big time playoff win. Von Miller, big midseason trade, comes in, makes a play. Obviously, Matthew Stafford makes some plays, has 2 tuds, and then runs one in. How you doing? Keep it moving. The Rams are all in. We want to win a Super Bowl, boom or bust. He said he's a little bit scared because the Rams beat the bad teams, and the Cardinals potentially have morphed into a bad team at this point that were riding high off their early success, so much so it got them a wild card berth in the entire thing. He's worried about going into Tampa, but I don't think they should, because I don't think Rams fans should even be worried. And he was very happy and optimistic and loves the Rams. Let's not get crazy, but he did bring up the fact that they were beating bad teams and then sometimes losing to the good teams. Sometimes at the end of the year there, Stafford was giving the ball away, and was it good defenses or was it just Matty Stafford? We don't know. They're going into a Tampa Bay with it that's a little bit wounded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Wirfs, right tackle, one of the best right tackles in the game. Young, never misses any plays. He couldn't even stand on his foot. They had to roll him out there. And then Wells was the backup. They had him out there. He was not in fantastic shape as well. The Tampa Bay, and Jensen, the center, is a little bit banged up. I mean, there is a lot of conversation around Tampa's health, how they're going to be, who's going to be on the field, how are they going to be on the field. And with Aaron Donald, who is a dog. He was trying to rake that guy's face. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, he
choked him out.
For being like defensive MVP and superstar, and for being as big, he is not scared to remind people that, hey, I do not play.
Here for a reason.
Hey, we're not playing football, okay? This is fighting football. Like, this is how I go. And I love it. Just strictly because he's from the town over from us. And I love that he is just known for being a fucking badass. Like, I enjoy that he's a tough dude. But let alone Von Miller and Aaron Donald, that entire defensive front. But if Tampa's beat up a little bit and they can't get rolling, going. And if Leonard Fournette is once again not playing, although Vaughn and Giovanni Bernard had great games, the Rams people have to feel pretty good about their matchup with Tampa as opposed to having to go into Green Bay, Wisconsin and take on a Green Bay Packers team that's getting everybody back healthy. This weekend is going to be fantastic. Bengals, Titans, Saturday, 4:30. Then Saturday, prime time, the Packers will take on the Niners. And since they're playing on Saturday night, that means today is a Wednesday. Because you move everything up. Aaron Rodgers is going to be at practice today. He'll be joining us at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. He has a window in the day, and he said, I'm sorry about it. And I said, don't be sorry, pal. It's fucking playoff
That's
football.
right, baby.
Yeah.
We understand.
I can't wait to chat with him for a few minutes just to see how he's feeling. I'm sure Kay Adams and Aaron Andrews and everybody around, all the media people will be watching to see what we ask, what we don't ask. That was a funny little moment.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, what am I supposed to ask him? You talked to him for 40 minutes. I have 3 questions. I'm sorry. I apologize. We're very lucky, very fortunate to do it. Can't wait to do it in 2 hours and 45 minutes with the man himself, the back-to-back MVP winner of the NFL. And then Sunday at 3 o'clock, Rams and Bucks down in Tampa. Can't wait to see how the weather is. Rams get 6 days. Okay? Rams get 6 days. They got to play on Monday Night Football. All eyes on me. Basically, whenever you're playing there. Not that playoff football isn't like that at all, but Monday night is a little bit more special. They got a 6-day break before they go to Tampa. And then Bills and Chiefs, which a lot of people in New England who got buzzsawed by the Bills are calling, that's the Super Bowl. The Bills and the Chiefs, that's the Super Bowl. Although 4 of the 6 wild card games are blowouts and over basically pretty early.
First quarter.
Aside from waiting around to see if Scotty Miller's going to get another yard receiving and other things like that, it does feel like the final 8 here are going to show up. I don't think anybody here is going to lay an egg, which is probably what the NFL is hoping after the 4 out of 6 blowouts here. Because you got people asking questions, was there too many playoff teams? Was there too many playoff teams? And then people are starting to say, is it too top heavy? What do we even got these bottom feeders in the playoffs or whatever? I mean, 4 out of 6 games were fucking ass beatings, but that's going to happen in the NFL. You just got to hope they don't happen concurrently, which is kind of what happened this past weekend. At Boston, Connor, your team obviously not a part of this upcoming weekend.
That's right.
Neither is my team. Buffalo Bills Chiefs on Sunday night. What a way to cap off this divisional round as we stare down championship weekend next week.
Yeah, that feels like it is possibly going to be the game of the weekend. I think Niners Packers too, but I mean 3 of those 4 games they already played this year. Like Bucks Rams played each other, Niners Packers played each other, Chiefs Bills played each other. Like a lot of familiarity. So you wonder if it's either going to be a grind on offense for some of these teams because they've already kind of seen what they're trying to do, or if they're just going to be a couple routes. Because I mean, like the Rams Bucks game, Bucks obviously unbelievable stopping the run. Rams can run the ball, but they also sling the pill around the yard, and that's kind of their weakness, right? And then Brady's Brady. He's won 37 goddamn playoff games on his own. And then Bills Chiefs. That should be a slugfest with Mahomes, Josh Allen. It's going to be unbelievable.
There is a really good match. The NFL got it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The NFL got it right here. Aside from the Colts not being here, I think that is really. What's that?
They probably would have lost in the first round too, but
Well, that's what Steve Smith Sr. said.
Tomatoes.
And Steve Smith Sr. said because he played in the NFL. What the fuck are you saying that because of?
Oh, I'm saying it just because, I mean.
Oh, because we lost Clontine. You're assuming we're going to lose in the playoffs?
Well, probably, yes, but also the AFC, we talked about how it was wide open all year, and then the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds are into the second round, and it's the NFC that has the one wild card team that didn't win their division moving up.
Let's talk about the Titans. Because we talked about the Packers getting healthier, getting they got guys coming back. They used the last game as a little bit of a preseason game. Bakhtiari got a chance to feel, a little bit of some rush before he gets back out there for the playoff game. Titans, we haven't talked about Titans at all, huh? Nobody has. No. This kind of was brought up yesterday about nobody chats about the Titans because Dan Zeus normally moves them completely out of his rankings, and he is the authority on ranking teams. What have the Titans been up to? Are they getting healthier? Vrabel fighting anybody?
Obviously, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown's going to be healthy. I believe Julio is going to be healthy. And a little stat nugget I found yesterday. Vrabel is 4-0 off a bye, but 8-0 when he has more time to prepare than the other team.
Ooh. See, the cerebralness of Vrabel. The cerebral Vrabel.
Yeah.
Cerebral.
The cerebral Vrabel. The cerebral Vrabel.
Vrabel.
So Vrabel's very cerebral.
That's right.
The very cerebral Vrabel.
Mm-hmm, right.
The very cerebral Vrabel. The very cerebral Vrabel.
There you go. A mouthful of marbles.
Superhero.
The very merry cerebral Vrabel. Doesn't get talked about because we always talk about him, having 4 patches in.
Yeah. Couple cigs.
Couple cigs both times, putting the boxing gloves on, fighting people, telling Harbaugh, actually, after his team was dancing on his leg, you just go fucking coach, okay? Just
Shut the hell
listen,
up.
shut the fuck up, you just go coach. And he was obviously a linebacker and tight end and Super Bowl champion and incredible leader. You don't win all those games with all those injured people if you don't have some sort of mastermind in the football game. That never gets talked about with Vrabes. And I think it's probably because he is just an Ohio meathead.
Yeah.
It doesn't get chatted about. But what a fucking job they've done down there. Imagine if the Titans are able to go on a run, especially with Derrick Henry being all the way back. I mean, that's a team nobody wants to see, just like everybody says the Niners aren't a team anybody wants to see because they can get going and get on a run. It's playoff football. I'm very pumped for the final 8 teams we got.
Well, and the Bengals, too. Their D-line's all banged up. But, I mean, we're not talking about the Titans, but they're also the 4th highest odds, I think, to win the Super Bowl. It's Packers, Chiefs, Bills, and then the Titans, which is crazy, obviously, because they are the 1 seed and have the home field advantage. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty it feels like you might want to take a flyer on the Titans winning the Super Bowl because of that.
Plus 500 are the Buffalo Bills against the plus 400 Chiefs. And the Bengals plus 1,500, Titans plus 850. Rams plus 700, Bucks plus 550, 49ers plus 1,000, and the Packers with the best odds of them all, plus 370. It just feels like this is different than last year with the Packers.
It does.
2 years ago, team stunk, made it to the NFC Championship, right? They were stealing wins at the end of games. It made no sense. That was the one where
One ugly all season long.
Aaron threw for 26 touchdowns or 27 touchdowns, only had 2 interceptions or something like that. That was the first game was against the Bears where they won like 9-3.
10-3.
Yeah, 10-3 or
Yep.
whatever. And it was tough because the offense, LaFleur's offense, Aaron and everybody else getting used to it, still had success. But everybody thought, oh, they're stealing wins. They're sneaking into this. Get all the way to the fucking AFC Championship. Get routed by this Niners team that is coming back. But much different Niners team, much different Packers team now. Didn't feel as if that was the team that was supposed to win a Super Bowl. Last year, watching the Packers, we thought, oh, this team's good, this team's good. In the defense, though, a little bit opportunistic. There were some moments in there. They get 3 picks on Tom Brady, have a great game. For whatever reason, somehow lose that game.
Give up a Hail Mary 14 seconds before halftime.
Oh, you're talking about Scotty Miller.
Yeah. That's kind of
A lot of yards on that play.
Yeah.
He got a lot more.
Yes, he did.
A lot of
Yes, he
fucking
did.
yards on that play, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Scotty Miller got a lot of yards. I thought potentially maybe that play is what creeped into my mind whenever I thought, oh, playoff football, Scotty Miller, this guy's going to pick up 10, 15 yards. Nobody ever talks about him. We can steal this, put this in a thing, boost the odds of this goddamn parlay to plus 1,000. We'll be smarter than everybody. Who'll be singing parlay holiday treat. And he gets 8 fucking yards. But yeah, this year, it just feels like all systems go. Now, special teams, still think there's a little bit of a question mark, kind of come see, come saw on the special teams. Some days it hits, some days it misses, which I believe is come see, come saw. It's like come see, come saw.
Okay.
Bonjour, je m'appelle pas, ça va bien. Is that French variant still a thing? We haven't talked about it, so it must not be.
I hate you.
I want to let everybody know, we fucking were ahead of the Omicron coverage.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
We literally were, because we're in the weeds out here on the internet.
Hell yeah.
We're in the trenches, my friend.
Yeah, Gumpy gets real perked up when we start talking about this type of thing. But we were in that French one. I feel like we're ahead of, and it was getting similar hype out of Europe, out of the European press. That French one was getting similar hype to the Omicron coming out of California there or whatever. Hey, this is the big bad wolf. Haven't heard from him in a long time.
No.
Deltacron, too?
Maybe it's because we don't speak enough French.
No.
Certainly
Yeah,
possible.
we need to start speaking. Yeah, je t'aime au football américain. You know, oui. Get the hot dog, croissant, crepe, please. Oui.
Baguette.
Oui. Hot dog. Après baguette. Oui.
Avec.
Anyways, I can't wait to see this Packers team go on this playoff run. Because the special teams is really the only question mark. But in Lambeau, every special team is going to be a question mark because of how windy and cold it's going to be. So even the best punt, Johnny Hecker was unconscious.
Oh, man. Yes, he was.
Had the ball on a string. Steph Curry like control by Johnny Hecker last night. Honest, he landed one on the sideline, got a fair catch. Obviously, nothing was said on the Manning cast or on the regular thing. It was like, that's a fucking perfect punt by Johnny Hecker right there. Then he gets one down to the 1, had 5 punts inside the 20 out of his 5 punts last night. I mean, he was unconscious. But even he who is punting his absolute best right now, which is a good time. Had a couple games, I think, where maybe he was going through something. I don't know if he would say that publicly, but it felt like it from watching him. There wasn't as much explosion. He's all the way back. In Lambeau, there's going to be bad balls. Like with the wind and the cold, there's always a question mark. And Green Bay is the victim of that. Their special teams unit is a victim of that because every single game you're watching them do that. But they do have to tighten that up. Aside from that, with the defense getting healthy and the offense getting healthy, why not? Why not this year? And Aaron said it's much easier to kind of, make a decision after you win than it is after you lose. Why not the Packers, Ty? Why not the Packers?
Well, and you mentioned the last time, because everyone's saying, that Rodgers is 0-3 against the Niners in the playoffs, but it is a much different team, I think. Devondre Campbell, for what it's worth, is, first team all-pro linebacker, a guy you just pick up off the street, and he's been unbelievable, has really changed their defense. Obviously, Rasul Douglas, and you get those other guys back. So they're obviously going to have to stop the run. But they know that. And Jimmy G, he looked okay, but he's banged up, and I think it's
shoulder sprain.
He's still got a broken thumb, a partially torn UCL. It's going to be 9 degrees at kickoff. I think that does factor into it. So if they can stop the run, I think he might give them 1 or 2. You assume that the offense, with Bakhtiari back, they're going to be able. Yeah, exactly. Turtlenecks on. A.J. Dillon is a load, and you would imagine that the offense is going to be able to. I think it'll be closer than what. It might get up to 6 or 7, but I think it'll be close. But I think the Packers should win.
Okay, well, joining us now, a man who has all the inside information on who should probably be playing in that game, who will not be playing in that game, what his thoughts and expectations are on the weather, and also the French variant of COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends, us being friends, he being Rap Sheet, senior insider for the NFL and NFL Network, Ian Rappaport. Hey, PXG, dude, big-time golfer, bro. Let's go.
First of all, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound very good. You look a lot better, too, in your car. You look like casual cool Ian,
Yeah, this is regular me.
Aww.
There's dressed up me. There's, makeup, full professional. When you called last night, I was, real serious and professional. This is much more relaxed.
Yeah, because last night you broke some news about Mike Mayock not being retained as general manager, and we will get to that. But let's finish this Packers-Niners conversation. So obviously there's Bosa on the conversation. Jimmy G's shoulder is in the conversation. Fred Warner has some stuff going on. The Niners appear to be banged up, but I think everybody is at this point, except for the Packers, who seem to have everybody coming back. Is that a proper narrative on this game, and how do you feel about the Niners and their injuries?
I would say that's a proper narrative. The Packers are probably, it's not just that they're healthy, it's that they're getting healthier and getting better. I'll have to look back and really think about it, but I can't remember a situation like this maybe ever. The Cardinals got J.J. Watt back last night, and that was a nice story, but I wouldn't say it was something that dramatically changed the game. Whoa. But, having Bakhtiari back, having Zadarius Smith seems like he's going to play, having him back. These are Jair Alexander, who I think is going to play. We'll see how he gets through practice this week. These are major additions, and it's just, and Rodgers, I'm sure he'll tell you today, but from what I understand, his toe is probably as good now as it's been in a very, very long time. So the Packers are in good shape. But you talk about the Niners injuries. The Jimmy G thing is interesting because the narrative on him has always been is he tough enough? He's always banged up, and what will he play through? And I think, some of those questions were fair. When I was playing through a completely torn UCL in his thumb and a shoulder sprain, which is not insignificant, these are major injuries. And
is there blood pumping through my body? He has a little Braun moment here. Is that what you're saying? Is Jimmy G's getting a chance to prove that the injuries that have taken him out in the past have been super significant? Everybody's going to get taken out by this type of thing. And this is him kind of battling through it. Is this his team releasing this information? Or do you think this is the Niners saying hey, Jimmy is in some shit here and we're going to continue to go with him?
It started with the Niners because basically when you get to the playoffs, and obviously, gambling is a much bigger thing now. The teams have always been transparent with injuries, but I don't know if you've heard that. Basically teams are pretty transparent with injuries. So I think the 49ers announced it yesterday that he had a little bit of a shoulder sprain, because if he was limited today, then they would have to disclose that. And we'd be why? Is he okay? So basically yesterday they just got in front of him and were like, he's dealing with something. But I would also say this, like, he's playing through some things, no doubt, but he also struggled in the second half when he had his shoulder injury. So it's at least something to watch going into this game. Like, how effective can he be with a torn thumb and an injured throwing shoulder?
How about Bosa? His dad told a reporter local there that it was his head. That looked like it was maybe a neck as well. It looked very uncomfortable. How is Bosa? Do you expect him to play?
It's a concussion, and, it's a little bit of a bad break, honestly, for the Niners to play on Saturday because you get one fewer day, right? So we actually might know today, like, if he's practicing today, just based on, like, where players need to progress in the concussion protocol, then I'd say he probably has a good chance. If he's not practicing today, then he probably has an up about, just because time-wise, like, you have to go through so many steps, and the independent neurologist has to clear you and all that. We'll see if he plays. Obviously, it would be like, that would be a very major thing if he could not play.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player, and everybody's talking. I think Kyle Shanahan said everybody's talking about him for comeback player of the year. He should be defense player of the year conversations as well. I feel like a lot of teams have those types of guys that aren't getting enough credit. Love watching Bosa play the football. T's and P's to the head. Hope the brain comes back and we could see you this weekend. Fred Warner, the last one there. Sounds like he's playing, right, via his Twitter account. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he's playing. Low ankle sprain. Basically re-aggravated a previous ankle sprain. So it's not nothing, but, as we'll see, like, you get to the playoffs, you get to this time, injuries that might have kept a guy off the field a week or two, like, everyone's playing through it. It's like we saw it with
There's no tomorrow, Ian. There's no tomorrow.
Yeah, if you lose, you just go home. You just go home. So, like, Tristan Wirfs, like, that was a pretty legit ankle
There we go.
injury.
Tristan Wirfs. Okay, let's go right into that now. Is there any other injuries that we need to know going into the divisional round weekend? 8 teams left. Tampa Bay is now hosting a very hot Los Angeles Rams team. They got Von Miller, Aaron Donald, a bunch of dogs up front. Wirfs and Jensen, question mark? Let's start with Wirfs.
Yeah, Wirfs is a question mark, and I don't think either of these guys are going to be able to practice till probably Friday, so we may not know for sure. But the fact that Wirfs, it's more like a high ankle sprain than anything else, which, can be like multi-week injury. But some of these guys are crazy. Like, they were up 21 this weekend, and he was back on the field trying to see if he could go. He couldn't, but, like, at least that was a good sign that it's not a major thing. So I would think there's a pretty real chance both these guys end up playing.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's, when you're playing through an injury, especially to an ankle, like, it's going to be hard, and I don't think he's going to be 100%, but I do think he'll be out there.
Okay, let's talk about any of the other games. Is there any notable injuries that we need to keep an eye on whenever we're talking about, Bengals, Titans? Obviously, Derrick Henry's back. A.J. Brown seems to be healthy. Maybe a Julio is coming back there. Bengals seem to have everybody. I don't think maybe D-line a little bit banged up.
Yeah, D-line a little bit banged up. Mike Daniels is out, and then Larry Ogunjobi, who – like, definitely talk about guys who don't get enough publicity. Like, he is a baller in the middle, and he has a Liz Frank injury, so he's out for the season now. That's an awful injury.
What is Liz Frank? That's the bottom of the foot?
I think it means it all either broke or tore. Either way, it's not.
Yeah.
It's probably terrible.
So it's the bottom that keeps all the shit together, right? And then it separates. Is that what happens? If I'm not a doctor, obviously we'd have to call Dr. Joe Rogan to get a more precise look on this. But I think
more on that in a couple segments. But yes.
2.5 hours, actually. Thank you. But I think it's when the bottom separates. I think.
Was it Von Miller who had it?
So painful. I couldn't even fathom how.
The Von Miller's was a little different. No, the Travis Etienne had it. MJD had it from who works with us now, and he said he didn't think his foot was ever the same. Like, these are terrible injuries.
Damn. Hate to hear that about Ogunjobi. Sorry about that, fella. Anywhere else? Any other injuries we need to keep an eye on as we go to try to predict and bet on these games more specifically?
Titans are real healthy. Like, Julio is probably as healthy as he's been.
Hey, that bye week's a big thing. That first round bye is huge.
And like, even if, it's nice that you get guys healthy, but even just avoiding playing a game so you don't get more guys injured, like, had the Bucks gotten a bye, which any other year they would have, their offensive line would be fully healthy, ready to go. Now, like, 2 of their, key guys are banged up. Like, that's a really big difference.
Yeah, I agree. And also with Von Miller, just Peyton said last night he's the most athletic person I ever played football with. He said he would do his warm-ups with the outside linebackers, and then he would go cover one-on-ones with wide receivers. And he was able to do what?
You know what I thought was interesting about the broadcast last night? I think it was Russell Wilson who was saying it, that he basically didn't think Vaughn was really in shape at the beginning of the year. And which, if you watched him, it kind of made sense. And it's not the kind of thing I could say, but like Russell Wilson says, you're like, well, it actually makes sense. So he may be probably at full strength and really in shape now, more so than he was at any other point in the season. And I thought he looked really good last night.
Hey, good on the Rams going all in, bringing him in, bringing Stafford in. Seems to be all working out. That's what I would like to see promoted in the NFL. So I hope success continues to happen to these teams that are trying to make plays and go all in. Last question for me. I know the boys have a couple. You're in your car. Where are you going right now? This is not my question, but I am just naturally wondering what you're doing.
Yeah, so Tuesdays are my off day. I am taking a ski lesson today.
Off day.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, awesome that you're skiing. Okay, really cool. But off day in the middle of a season.
NFL never sleeps.
It's
What
about
a
to
fucking playoffs.
Look,
than a
there's
month.
always reporting to be done, and I'll have my phone. But so I've been a snowboarder for the last 5 years. My kids are skiers. They are much faster than me, and I do not like to be slow, and I want to ski with them. So I'm ditching the snowboard, and I'm learning to ski. So this is my second lesson, and I'm terrible.
How was that? First one was bad, huh? A lot of ass or a lot of cross, like almost blew your knee out, ankle out? How'd you?
No, it was just you're on the little hill, so it's real embarrassing.
Bunny Hill.
Bunny
Just call it what
slopes.
it is.
But did you get down to the bunny hill or no? Did you get down good?
Yeah,
back?
you got down, and then hopefully today I'll go up on the big mountain, and that'll really feel good.
Whoa.
You know, the first time I went skiing, the only time I went skiing, we were a little fucked up. It was at West Virginia. We're on probably on a little booze,
What?
probably a little beer,
What?
probably some vitamins.
What?
Some in the group, I believe, were on some uppers as well.
What?
It was quite a party out there on the mountain. You know what I mean? Not me. I'm not one of those guys. I was on heavily vitamin
good job,
dosage with Brewhaus. But we accidentally got off. It was my first time on full skis. We accidentally go off to down a trail, and we get to something called the Face.
Ooh.
And I believe that is I don't remember, purple or black?
Black diamond.
I think it's a
Black
black diamond or something like that. First time skiing. And we just, we all almost died except for me. I went straight down all the way to the lodge, couldn't stop. Took the skis off, said I'm never doing that again. I was scared to death.
And that was it?
Yeah, that was it. That was the first time. Boom, all the way down last time. Haven't been on since. Scared the shit out of me. But we're all fucked up. Some guys had like their poles in the middle of the face. They had to hike back up and grab their poles and shit.
sure.
I mean, it was a full
Yard sale.
Yeah, it was a full scene. Hope that doesn't happen to you today, dude. Hope,
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck,
Appreciate
Ian.
it. Oh, thank you.
Don't die out there. We need you. I mean, playoffs, Tuesday, day off. I respect it. Boomer Esiason does not, though. Just want to let you know that.
Does he not? Did he say something about my skiing?
Well, maybe. I don't know if he's heard about your terrible skiing, but you have an off day.
Yeah, you taking days off now.
Figure
Boomers.
it out, dude.
Hey, get a boomer work ethic one time, okay? Let's get to my last question before the boys. The COVID testing, they just stopped doing that? Or did they say, hey, we need all negative tests? How did everything just kind of stop? Is it because the natural progression of the research that you did on the variant out of Africa called
South Africa.
But I think it was before that. Wasn't it somewhere else? I think it was Botswana first. Botswana first, then South Africa. And I know you were looking at the bell curves on how the Omicron ran down there and how long it was expected to potentially run in America. Is this just a natural progression of Omicron dying off and people not being as positive, or does it just feel like the NFL isn't having any positives in the most important time of the season?
I would say a little bit of both, but probably more of the second. So so many people got it. I mean, so many people got it. So it makes sense that there are fewer people getting it. The only testing now, there's spot testing, which is just random, no symptoms. Or
IQVIA.
Yep.
IQVIA, the company out of Carolina that's worth
Yep.
11 billion.
I think that was the wrong.
They do a great job of it.
Oh, 2
You're
years.
worth
And then
50
there's
billion.
Yeah,
and then there's the
what?
other one where basically you say, all right, I have symptoms, test me. And it would make some sense if come playoff time, fewer people would be tested. I hope
No.
everybody gets tested. Just
Wait a
for
minute.
overall
Whoa. We had, Ian, you and I had full conversations. And at the beginning, people were self-reporting that entire thing. You're saying now you're a little bit worried the players aren't self-reporting? You don't think they care about health?
I think they care a lot about health. Now, there's also a lot of good precautions being taken in the building with outdoor meetings, with masking up. So a lot of good things are happening as well.
Okay, and I hope, by the way, that is not just happening in NFL locker rooms. I hope maybe, that's happening in the world too.
That's right.
Maybe the whole world. Did we beat COVID, dude?
We might have. Well, we
Did we beat COVID, dude?
I did hear someone earlier in the week say that they were very close to the end. So
Who?
we did just yet.
Who said that?
Someone on the television. Now, I don't want to say any names, but
If they didn't get the shot, they would have died.
Which network?
Well, listen, don't even, Ian. That's even worse, by the way. I think what you just tried to do was even worse. Okay, Tone, your question, pal.
Ian, a few weeks ago, you were saying, hey, Steelers are going with a veteran quarterback this offseason. I feel like it was your report this weekend that said fucking Mason Rudolph and Dewey Haskins are in play. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I would say the way it was explained to me is this. Like, could the Steelers trade for a veteran? I guess anything is possible. And there's been a show, it's kind of like an internet show, but it's also radio, that kind of stoked some of the fires about Aaron Rodgers maybe going to the Steelers, and I think that kind of got people talking. It was your show, Pat. Yeah, it was you guys. And, the more calls I
Don't
made,
be
the more
spreading misinformation on this program.
No.
We're just talking about what's going on out there.
Anyway,
We did.
so it seems very un-Steeler-like. I did some research. They have only traded a first-rounder for a player one time, and it actually turned out to be less than one because it was for Minka Fitzpatrick. Could they do it? Yes. Could the new GM want to go a different way than Kevin Colbert? I guess. But Colbert will be in charge through the draft, so he's going to be the one pulling the strings. So it seems un-Steeler-like to give up everything for some veteran. So the way it was explained to me was it would be Mason Rudolph and Haskins, who Tomlin likes Haskins, and then someone in the draft. And they draft in the 20s, so we'll see who ends up getting there.
Maybe Corral, maybe Kenny Pickett, who's on the other side of the building they know a lot about. Let's talk about those veteran quarterbacks that you're referring to there. Russell Wilson, I didn't see the Manning cast last night. I had passed out by the time he got on, or I might have been back on the broadcast. I'm not 100% sure. I'll watch it back so I know more. He's out of Seattle. Is that he is out of Seattle, and is he definitely on the market now? Is that what everybody's expecting?
He didn't talk about it last night.
He said go Hawks, though, right?
Yeah.
Eli kind of dropped the ball there.
Oh, yeah.
He usually does. Eli usually asks some good questions, but he did not this time.
Whoa.
I was told over the last couple of days that Russell Wilson wants to explore his options.
Yeah.
He's not going to demand a trade. He's not going to ask to be traded. He just wants to see what's out there. Kind of a similar situation to last year where his agent mentioned 4 teams that he wasn't saying he would want to go there, but if he was going somewhere, those would be the teams he'd be okay going to.
Of course.
And I just don't know how willing Seattle is to deal him. My colleague Mike Garafolo reported last week that Seattle plans on keeping him. And, I mean, it's sort of like last year. Like, does Pete Carroll want to start over at 71? Does he want to rebuild at 71? Like, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that, but we'll see what they end up doing.
And nobody's knowing any information, right? Because the owner isn't telling anybody shit.
Well, that meeting happened, and they basically came out of it with sort of like status quo.
Hey, did you weasel your way in there?
What's that?
Did you weasel your way in there? Are you in the know in there? Has that happened? Have you cracked
I would say
the
I had
moat?
a couple sources. I wasn't physically there, but I was there in spirit.
Oh, you feel good about it. Because what was that, like a week or two ago?
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about Jody Allen, I believe.
right.
Jody Allen has this thing.
She doesn't talk.
To anybody. Hey, media, I don't care if you know or don't know what we're going to do. Now you're saying you cracked the code, huh? You got in there, you started punching some stuff in. You put the bridge over top of the moat. You got within the castle of the Jody. You feel good about your reporting now at Seattle? We should trust this? And does anybody else have any information other than you?
I would say the little pieces of information are kind of sliding their way out of there. I do appreciate the visual of the bricks over the moat because that took me back, but that was, I thought that was a nice job there. No, I got morsels, but, I would say similar to last season, we are not going to stop talking about Russell Wilson until he says, I'm definitely back there, go Hawks. He did say go Hawks last night, but he didn't say I'm definitely back, so we'll see what ends up.
Wow.
I love the media actually listens to the end of that interview. He said, "Go Hawks."
Well, okay.
I mean, just put on Instagram, light at the end of the tunnel. Was that Team 3's social department or was that actually Russell? You know, you have to guess where all this information's coming from. Couple more questions. We can't thank you enough for delaying your ski lesson, it sounds like.
Yeah.
We need to get you off the bunny hill anyways for the good of our show and for you.
yeah.
So we don't mean to take up your time here. Go ahead, Ty.
Rap sheet. I saw Leftwich got an interview with the Bears, and Kellen Moore's lined up a couple interviews. People saying Dan Quinn. What's going on in the coaching searches department? When can we start seeing the ball start to roll on that a little bit?
Okay, so the most immediate thing is the Giants are bringing in guys for second GM interviews. Joe Shane from the Bills is in there now. Ryan Poles from the Chiefs is going to go in as well. I think there might be one more. So they're accelerating that. Then they're going to do the coaching search. So that, I would say next couple of days we'll get some news on the Giants. Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore both have several interviews this week. Denver and Quinn seem to be some mutual interest there.
Ooh.
They got a good slate of things, and I know they're going to take their time, but they both seem interested in dancing, let's say. The Raiders now have an opening, and they've already put in a couple requests. Gerard Mayo got a request. I would expect Todd Bowles to get one as well. Leftwich interviews with the Bears, and they're going to try to do the GM and coach sort of together thing, where they see if they maybe want to get to know each other. And then Houston, still going. They interviewed Hines Ward over the weekend. That was kind of interesting. Jonathan Gann is interviewing today. So a lot of sort of dancing, but not a lot of, the stuff that comes after the dancing.
What comes after the dancing?
The
Repartee.
the walk home and then the kiss on the cheek.
Oh, you're talking about the consummation of the dance.
Rap sheet.
Yeah.
Are you a good dancer,
However,
Rap?
people decide to do it in their own houses.
Hey, Rap, you tear down a dance floor, dude?
In my younger days, I went to Columbia, so we would frequent a club or two, and I would do my thing a little bit.
I've heard about those Columbia clubs.
Oh no, you go downtown, you get to like the tunnel or
yeah,
something like
Columbia.
that, and
Hey now.
yeah, it's a good time.
Where is Columbia at? Is that in D.C., New York?
New York City.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
really?
it's uptown, then you'd go downtown for the clubs.
It's quiet uptown. You know what I mean? Huh?
Yes, that is an incredible pull, actually. Great
Thank
job.
you. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, dude, just like my country. Go ahead, Connor, what's going on?
Yeah, Rap Sheet, please tell me that there was some sort of meeting between the referees and the NFL after what happened this past weekend, and are there going to be any changes going forward?
I think they're going to, take a look at some possible changes, but I don't get the sense anything major is happening. I don't get the sense.
How do I get in the room where it happened, dude? Let's just keep these going. How do I get in there, okay? And how can I lay out to them how much better the game would be if we just did it exactly how the fucking XFL did it? How do we go about doing it? And even if they don't want it to be...
Which way? What are you talking about?
Okay, there was somebody with an Xbox controller who was very well versed with the Xbox controller, able to run their life with both thumbs. That's my problem. I can't do that. That's why I'm bad at gaming. I have to do the Oculus, which is full body stuff. There's somebody in there with incredible thumb dexterity, zooming in, cutting in, running fast forward, slow motion, replay, zooming in, zooming out, and then talking to the ref who was standing on the field right next to me going, oh, they did not catch the ball. They did not fumble the ball. We're going to overturn that call. No big deal. It took 6-7 seconds. Literally. That's all it took. And everybody understood exactly why and how the decision was made. The NFL doesn't have to have this person on a mic or on a camera, but there has to be an ability for somebody just to get a goddamn controller up there in every single stadium and train young people to be able to do this and see this whole thing and just boom, boom, run it back and say, your call was wrong, your call was right, and let's just move. Replay assist seems to be like a part of that, but then replay assist called it a catch, and then it was replay assist was challenged and then overturned last night. This is a clusterfuck, Ian, and we need to get it fixed. We need to get it fixed for the good of the refs and for the good of the game.
I mean, I think there's going to be some interesting discussions on should refs be full-time, and I don't, not everybody agrees that would actually help. I sort of
those
am on the
people
fence
need to
about
stop
that
making
because
decisions.
It's not like they don't know the rules, right? I mean, it's not like they aren't in position. It's just, I don't know. It has been a difficult year with officiating. I'm not going to lie on that. I would say that's a universal thought.
Hey, is it Is that every year? Is this every? We asked, I think Pereira this like week 7. Is this worse than every other year? It feels like we're talking about it more. And he said this is every year.
I was text Garofalo and Pelissero, my buddies, during the game, our little group chat, and I asked the same thing last night. I'm like, do we just do this every year?
Yeah. And what they say?
And I don't know the answer to that, but it does seem like there'll be some meaningful discussions after the season, hopefully to improve it. And it was not a great weekend when it comes to that.
Hey, we appreciate you joining us. Does Pelissero actually text, or does it come through the Neuralink? Does it say like sent via Neuralink?
Yeah. Voice message.
Yeah, he just thinks it and it just goes right into the phone.
Wow. He is unbelievable. You guys got quite a team over there. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Enjoy the Bunny Hill. We hope you learn how to ski so you can keep up with the kids. You're the absolute best. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport. Thank you, Ian. I think we were holding him up there for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what time his lesson was, but
yeah, but if he's on the bunny slope, he's not itching to get out there. He probably has to ice his buns after every time he's skiing. Let's be real.
What's this guy's deal? He's trying to learn. He's trying to take baby steps.
Absolutely.
He went to Columbia, dude. It's an uptown. Fuck, you don't even know how that guy's brain works.
Part of learning how to ski. You fall on your ass a lot.
He's gonna put the palm between his legs and get dragged around all day.
I had a blast that one time we went. I mean, we had to rent the skis from WVU's like sports and rec or whatever. It was this big to do. I mean, we got in the car. Hey, we're going to go ski. It's going to be awesome.
So
I've never
ski
been.
Club?
Nah, it might have been one of those days where West Virginia students get it for whatever. Yeah. I mean, we absolutely destroyed our livers. It was quite a go. But I literally only went down one hill, and it was I tried the squirrel cage was the next one.
Okay.
And that one, I think I did that. No, that was I didn't go down it actually. It was the
moguls.
Oh yeah,
the moguls.
That's
yeah,
also a black diamond normally.
Yeah, and I went around that.
Smart.
And then I got back in the thing, and then the face. I just went straight down, and I was like, you know what, this ain't for me.
They should have started you with a green circle. And then
but
blue squares.
I mean, that's like a full process, right? Because you got to ride all the way up, you got to go all the way back down, then you got to get there. It's like if we do one of these baby ass basic hills, just because I've never done it before, everybody else seemed to already do it. We're eating fucking an hour out of the time that we have here already, right? It's kind of a timely process, that entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get a run done in 15.
I don't know. There was a line to get on those guys.
Yeah, it's a busy mountain.
I don't know.
Deep Creek.
Deep Creek. Yeah, I think it was in Deep Creek.
Yeah, you could done.
The face plays no fucking games though.
No.
Yeah, not at all.
I saw it eat a couple of my
Those
friends.
are normally icy too. The Atlantic snow is normally a little wet, a little ice.
Dude, my friend, the first one that went down was like this big at the bottom of the hill. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. He was just next to me. And it was oh my God.
Yeah, far away.
And he did not stay on his feet all the way down there. I mean, it was a boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
There was a ski sticking straight up at one point.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. What did we sign up for? And there was no way to get down unless I cross-country skied back up through the trail that got us down there. There was no other option. So it was like potentially blow out every knee that I have ever had, or just get all the way down here and promise myself I'm never doing it again. And that's exactly what happened.
just bomb right down the mountain.
Dude, straight down.
Have to.
I ain't never felt more locked into something. I literally just sitting there like this. Oh my God. Passing my friends who are wishing me like, hey! Another one down. And then I get all the way down the bottom. Can't stop. Obviously, there's people crossing.
Oh, yeah.
Yay! Move!
Going at 150 miles an hour.
All the way up to the fucking thing. And then just it's like, take these off.
Après ski. It's the best part.
But I was watching the boys recollect all their shit on the mountain.
Thanks.
Bro, it seemed like a blast, though. It seemed like it would be a fun activity.
Yeah, for sure.
Is. Taking your boots off, too, and putting shoes on after a long day of skiing, it feels great.
Yeah, I feel like same situation as whenever we pop back into the rollerblades. The muscles that we didn't remember having, those all just kind of lock up on those ski boots.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw somebody on Shark Tank the other night. It might have been from a couple years ago, but it's a little boot skis. Mm-hmm. They got like these little boots.
The ski blades?
Oh, the small,
not
the
the blades.
small ones, right?
No, it was smaller than the ski blades. It was like these boots that just were basically, they were the skis.
They had skis on them. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, the smaller ones are like trick skis, too. You can do like some pretty cool stuff on them.
Like,
Fucking
I'm
grind and shit.
dude.
Yeah.
I would like to hit a half pipe one time, just because it seems like very simple, but then those crashes are devastating.
Yeah. You can die. You need a
Those are
helmet
also
doing that.
rock hard.
Well,
Rock hard.
you know?
Helmet doing.
You seriously do. Skiing in
say
general,
so.
but if you're dropping into the pipe, you better have at least, maybe one, maybe two helmets on.
Hour 1 on SiriusXM is wrapping up here in about 20 seconds or so. We didn't take a break. That's on us. Ian Rappaport was giving us all the goods. Yeah. Hey, it's divisional round football.
That's right.
8 teams left. Who will go on to cement their legacy as a Super Bowl champion? We'll talk more to a Super Bowl champion on the other side of this break with AJ Hawk. If you're on YouTube, we'll see you in about 5 minutes. The ends are the best. Happy Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, January 18th. Cheers.
It really comes down to, and pardon my French, but giving less fucks. I think that it's a maturity that comes from aging, from making mistakes, from failing, from being too sensitive at times, from taking things too personal at times. And it's about growth and learning not to be indifferent, because I think indifferent people are terrified of making choices, and it's a cold place to live. It's about choosing what to care about, and the things that you do care about, it's less things. It's not trying to be a part of every conversation or get involved in everything or setting yourself up to be offended about certain things. It's caring more about specific things and less things, and with those things, it's finding ways to solve the problems, because true happiness doesn't come from eliminating all problems in your life. I believe it comes from solving the problems that you have and dealing with the pain and the suffering that is natural in life and is a part of life. It's not fleeing from pain and suffering and running from those things and not dealing with the emotional situations. It's looking at those head on and saying, how can I solve these problems and make my life a little bit better? And that's what I've tried to do the last couple of years. And I've talked about in this show as well. It's about perspective. And I truly believe this, when you focus on the things that you have more than the things that you don't have, you allow yourself to let gratitude sink in. And when the gratitude sinks in, it is always accompanied by joy, because you're focusing on the blessings that you have, not on the things that you don't have, the things you wish you had, the way you wish your life was that much better, you wish you had this, you wish you had that. You'll always be unsatisfied. But when you take solace in the fact that you're where you're supposed to be, and that life is going to come at you with pain and suffering and failure and frustrations and mistakes, and just trying to solve those problems and do a little bit better next time, it allows you to, I think, be a little gentler with yourself and admit that you're a human. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to please everybody. There's always going to be a 500-pound elephant of possibly hatred and malice waiting for you, whatever decision you make, and that's just part of life. You got to deal with it and just try and be better the next time.
So you feel freer, it feels like, huh? You kind of feel free.
Yeah, there's a liberation that comes from caring less about the things that don't really matter in this life, I think. And I will say, if anything, and I know the two of you is the best on this show, and so I won't speak for the other boys, but I'm sure they're very similar. There's a lot of joy in being unapologetically yourself. And I think in life we respect people the most often who are that way, who don't try and change or be different or grow meek in situations that require courage, that go quiet in situations that require communication. And that's what I appreciated in both your friendships, is that you guys have always been yourselves. And Pat, I haven't known you as long as I've known AJ. I sat next to AJ for 9 years, and I had so much love for him and appreciation for the friend that he is. But I always admired and was inspired by the fact that AJ was always himself. And he believed that who he was exactly who he was supposed to be. And he didn't have to be different or put on a face for anybody. He was unabashedly himself. And I think there's a lot to be, gained from doing it that way. And what I love about you and the boys is that's who you are. You guys show up every single day, not with an agenda, but with an open mind, and create conversations around important topics, and then you just be yourselves.
What's going on? He's taking shit. You guys going out there yet? No. Get here.
right, that was a hell of a performance, boys. Thank you. What's your guys' name?
I'm Javier.
Javier? Justin. Carrie. Carrie, Justin, Javier. Appreciate you. What's up, man? I'm Pat. Nice to meet you, man. We need to get you some dope.
Say it again?
Need to get you some weed, man. That's just
No.
Hold on, let me get one of these real quick with the whole squad in there. What's your guys' name?
Hey, crew or group? Yeah, we're a crew. We're called High Octane Entertainment. We've done the 2020 welcoming committee. We saw Alabama coming in off the plane, so we do a big event. So yeah.
How big is the group?
We got about 20 guys, honestly. So we thought about bringing the whole crew out here. We're like, no, let's just bring out the heavy hitters, and then we'll see what happens. Hey, no, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations on everything.
Everything, man. We will see you again, okay?
All right, sounds
Need a water or anything?
Oh, no, we're good.
All right. Thank you, boys. That was awesome.
I want to tell you a story about a young man who once had a gambling problem, perhaps, before all these FanDuel sports books. The greatest app, the greatest place to gamble existed. There were bookies, there were illegal gambling rings, and one time, yes, I was a part of one, and I could not pay my bill, per se. I broke my legs. But now, because of FanDuel Sportsbook, they saved my life. That's why I will always gamble with the #1 sportsbook in America, FanDuel Sportsbook.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command line. Yeah, you about to see me on demand, like you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the.
It's got good bounce for this thing here. You know what I
Wait,
mean?
what's it for? Is it like a sand wedge?
Anything close to the green. It's like a 60.
Yeah.
I think it's like 60.
Little rescue club.
Yeah.
I used it one time on a course. I duffed it 4 times, and I said that one's going to the studio. That one's never seen a course again.
Is that the one you gotta just use the same stroke as a putter?
No, that's the chipper. The little double
Oh, that
size.
little thing that you use in the fringe area?
Yeah. If I ever get into pro golf, which is
They're
probably
illegal.
going to happen after this whole thing, that one's going to be one of the spots in my bag.
Yeah. They
That
say
little
use the 9.
They're illegal, though.
What?
I think those little chipper deals are illegal.
Bullshit!
You can use
It's
the
all right. You
9
won't
on
ever
it.
get close enough.
I will, dude. Wait until you hear what we're up to. And then, you know.
I mean, I don't care. You could put 9 golf simulators in the Coliseum. It's not going to make you a pro golfer.
It's not a Coliseum, by the way. It's a fucking igloo.
It's
all
called
right?
the
Get it right,
you
AJ.
asswipe.
We've already talked about it.
Wake up.
You guys all at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's a branding thing, you know?
How many times do you have to
I
tell
tell you
you
what,
the
it
same
is
thing?
mesmerizing just watching you do this.
It's
on the
crazy.
monitor. It really
How about you
is.
get some air under that thing? That's nothing. You have like 3 inches of height.
I mean,
Well,
it's
You piece of shit.
How dare you?
How about you
scumbag,
have some
dude.
awareness?
Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat
What the fuck are
McAfee
you
Show
doing?
starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, hour 2 on this glorious Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Hour 2 begins right. Meow.
Yeah.
Talks the tables here at Ty Schmidt at Boston Connor. Hey, mullet looks incredible.
Hey, thanks, Pat. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you're really doing well with it.
Baby, Connor.
Thank you. Your hair's looking good too. Get
Nah, well, I think I'm going to change it soon here. I saw some videos of me back in the day. I started going with the low fade. Might go mid to high again just to kind of get it all back in there. And this is getting a little bit too heavy up top.
No, let it go.
No, it's becoming a real problem with the hair dry, the blow dryer in the morning trying to get it to act right because this thing don't act right. You know what I mean?
No, I
I
hear
look
you.
at my hair and I say act right, and it just doesn't. And
Like AJ Hawk.
well, speaking of him, Ton Diggs is here for one half of the Hammer
Dahn.
Cowboys and joining us from his attic in Ohio via Zoom call
Jesus.
because he took a trip back in time just yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, AJ Hawk. Oh my God. You should see.
How's it going? How's it look?
Oh, this is cool, man. I didn't know you were Amish.
Jesus.
Oh, sweet, bro. Standard
take
def
it-
AJ Hawk.
Welcome to
this-
1990.
Oh, this is
480p.
sweet, dude.
My
Oh my God.
God.
What is that blur of white skin over here? Is that a Oh, that's AJ. Oh my God. Good to see you, dude. Shout out to you living in the colonial times. Hey, thanks for coming on the show today.
It's not me, buddy. I tell you, I didn't take it. I'm trying to go back in time and de-update my computer and try to get this stupid thing off of here so I can actually use a mic, but unfortunately, forces are against me right now, but I'll keep moving.
Oh my God, you look like one of those lip dubs, the way you're speaking,
yeah.
your mouth and the words. Oh,
look so dumb,
You don't
dude.
deserve this, AJ.
Okay.
What's going on? You all right, dude?
I'm good. I can't tell if you're serious or not, but I'm good.
No, we're
Wow, we
serious.
lost. Hold on, speak it. I think we lost sound.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that last
God
part.
damn it. Again, AJ, are you shitting me?
Is the sound?
I
on?
promise you, I'm not jumping in this game. I am not doing this with you.
What is he saying?
Yeah.
Not your
We see your
clown.
lips moving, but we don't hear anything.
What, AJ?
Not your clown, Bob.
What are you saying? Can anybody?
Oh, now we really can't. And now he did get muted.
Yeah, way to go. Way to get muted. All right, let's get to it. Hey, the Cardinals got their fucking asses beat last night, dude. They've looked like a completely different team since DeAndre Hopkins got hurt. And I know he's a hell of a ball player, but in the NFL, people are going to get hurt all the time. It's how you adjust to that and kind of move on. They snuck into the playoffs because of how they were earlier in the year. And Cliff Kingsbury has a stat that is not great towards the back half of the season. He lost 5 out of the last 6 this year, 5 out of the last 7 2 years ago, and then like 7 out of the last 9 3 years ago or something like that. Actual stats of Cliff Kingsbury's career as the Arizona Cardinals head coach. What is it? Why is it? And are you just should we be more impressed with the Rams? Obviously, they looked unbelievable. But the Cardinals have just been a different squad. I don't know what it is.
But definitely losing Hopkins is a huge loss for them, but it shouldn't, I guess, everything else shouldn't have fallen apart around him. I mean, I don't know, like, what did Kyler say after the game? Did you guys play any of his audio? Did you see what he had to say?
I don't think I didn't see it.
I thought he did something with the Phase Up boys before.
That's what I thought. Face clamp.
Face clamp.
Sorry.
Come on.
Phase-
Little respect.
You know, same thing.
People are saying they should have played till the game. What? That's what people are saying. Not mine.
Seriously?
That ain't my face clamp.
Phase boys.
I mean, he was under pressure a lot all night. I mean, I do have to give a ton of credit to the Rams defense. They were awesome. Von Miller looks like he is peaking at the right time. Absolutely. When he chased down old buddy on the little bubble
Rondale
screen
Moore,
or
I
toss.
think.
Yeah.
Jeez, like that was awesome. Rondale Moore can fly. So watching Vaughn, and what year is this for him? 11, 12? I don't know. Like watch him chase a dude down was crazy.
Did you hear what Peyton said about him? Peyton said he's the most athletic teammate he's ever had. He used to do individual and warm-ups, with the outside linebackers, and then he would go do one-on-ones with receivers at defensive end, outside linebacker. And he was like, he would win, too. It's not like he's playing there. So watching him track and close, and then watching him getting game-winning sacks 2 weeks ago, now he's getting into the groove of things. Aaron Donald is still going to be Aaron Donald regardless. And if you look at that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line, Wirfs is on one leg right now with a high ankle, I believe, is what happened to him. Jensen got banged up. They're both going to play because they're incredibly tough. Iowa tough.
Hell yeah.
And then Central Arkansas, where'd Jensen go? Jensen won some smaller school. He's a fucking tough guy, too. They're going to play. But this is not the right time to have a banged up offensive line, especially if you're Tom Brady. And it might be the perfect time for the Rams to seize the opportunity of, hey, they got a lot of superstars, a lot of eyeballs. This is the playoffs. They might play their best football going forward. And congrats to Matthew Stafford getting a big-time win last night.
That was huge for Stafford. How does Foxy feel about that? Is Foxy still happy for him?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty fired up. I just thought Stafford stunk, but all he did this year was be top 3 in pass yards, top 3 in touchdowns, and win the hardest division in football, and win a playoff game. He needed this one. He really did.
He only needed 17 attempts, too. That's what's crazy. Like, they blew him out, and he only threw the ball 17
that's what happens
times.
when you give him a run game, a defense, and a good coach. It never happened in Detroit. Now look at what he's doing now.
202 yards passing on 17 attempts. I think he won 15 of 17, 14 of 17, 13, whatever it was of 17. 202 yards, 2 tuds passing, 1 to Cooper Kupp, hell of a catch.
Yeah.
That was an incredible catch. And obviously Odell Beckham Jr. continues to live his best life, catching a touchdown, having a pass. But Cam Akers is a goddamn dog. I mean, that was a lot of fun to watch him get going. I don't think we knew enough about him or talked enough about him this season. He got hurt, obviously, but what a fucking addition he was to the squad. 13 of 17, 202 yards, 2 pass TDs, 1 rush TD. That, by the way, why did we have to go to a commercial break?
Foolish.
And review that to then kick the extra point, to then kick off to go to another commercial break. It's like the way last night was handled was like the perfect depiction of what the fuck are we even doing? Everybody on earth, okay, that's watching. Doesn't matter if you're watching the Manning cast. Doesn't matter if you're watching Levy and the boys. Or I think even the NFL Live crew had a watch-along happening. And I think Dan Orlovsky will be joining us in about a minute, by the way. I think the NFL Live crew had a watch-along going on ESPN+. It doesn't matter where you're watching or how you're watching, whether it's standard def like AJ is currently in right now because he's on Zoom and he took a trip back in time. It was obvious to everybody as soon as you saw the overhead shot, oh, that's a touchdown. No. He still has to challenge it. We still have to do the entire song and fucking dance. And then whenever we get back into it, the ref has to be told to give the announcement. It's like, why are we even wasting this time? And then you compound that on top of the catch ruling via replay assist where they're talking, and then McVay's like, you're going to have to take another look at that, and then it gets overturned again. I mean, it was just, last night was a comedy of errors in the entire reffing process, and it was a blowout, so it's not that big of a conversation, but this shit's going to this is going to be a problem, and we're in the biggest time of the year right now, and they're not going to have it figured out ever. It's just going to be a continuing revolving door of cluster fuckery with that entire operation, dude.
Don't you think, is it possible that they don't mind having some of these replays and doing this? We have to go to break when it's obvious because it adds commercials. I mean, it adds more money that they can make if they can run with these commercials, and it doesn't look like, oh, here's another TV, here's another break for commercials here, like TV timeouts that people tend to hate. When The Rock was on, they went to 14 commercials, I feel like.
Yeah, and there was no real flow for The Rock to get into with the Manning boys. I'm not happy about it.
No.
Me either. He still got his plugs in.
Hey, he was a professional through that entire thing.
Why didn't they? So I think you guys talked about it, but when they discovered the most intact dinosaur skull, the T-Rex thing, why didn't Peyton or Eli say, how much was that, Dwayne?
Or let's follow up about this. Was that a dream to have a full fucking actual dinosaur in your office? There's been conflicting reports on the internet. A lot of people have said that it was an anonymous purchase from The Rock and he spent like $31.8 million, I saw some people said, which maybe is the case because that's the most intact T-Rex in the history of T-Rexes. Right there, Stan is the man's name. And it just kind of got glimpsed over or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because they knew the time was running short with The Rock. He's a very busy man. It's just, I don't know. There was a lot of follow-ups I had. Now, he did follow me on Twitter last night.
Whoa. No big deal.
Thank you, Dewey.
You gonna get weird now? You gonna get self-conscious about what you put out?
Well, I was thinking about it. He's going to follow today when we unload fucking 20 videos right into his timeline here in the next 3 hours or whatever. Champagne Poppy's still following me on Instagram too.
Let's go.
We had one interaction. on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he liked something. I responded to a story of his and he liked it.
Let's
go.
Whoa.
Drizzy.
Fucking Drizzy, what's going on?
Do you have a bunch of notifications on to see that?
What?
Do you have a bunch of notifications on to check that?
No. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I've never checked if someone's liked something or how. Or never
You're terrible at the
dig
internet.
into it.
You're not
Yeah,
DMing Drake, dude.
Yeah, you're terrible at the internet. The only thing you do is just creep and stalk and accuse people of terrible things.
Heinous things.
On the internet. That's all you do on the internet. You're not very interactive on
Who's
it.
got notifications on for a few people?
Joining us now is a man who dominates the quarterback guru-ness on the television. If this man says it, it must be right. Guy who's in the NFL for a long, long time, one of the hosts of NFL Live, our friend from ESPN, Dan Orlovsky. Hey, that looks like a Jeep. Jeep wave to you, pal. A little Jeep wave to you, Dan.
What's up, Jeep family?
Hey.
I gotta get it this way. My Jeep's not as good as your Jeep. I've seen your Jeep on social media.
Yours runs. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't.
AJ.
AJ's come on the show. I've been listening on the drive to work. He's come on with a little bit of a in the old booty hole right now.
Standard deaf looking ass over there in Ohio.
He knows what's going on? What's going on, AJ? Why are you in such a cranky mood?
Dane, I take that as a compliment, so I don't know how you meant it. But yeah, it's playoff football. I guess everybody's a little on edge, right?
I don't know much about playoff football, so I have no idea how to react in the playoffs.
Oh, that's amazing. You've been crushing it, but let's talk about your lack of knowledge about playoff football. Matthew Stafford gets his first playoff win. Obviously, you know Matty well. You were in the same room as him. You're in Detroit with him. I assume you still contact with him. 17 attempts last night, obviously. 202 yards, 2 tuds passing, 1 rushing. Didn't need to review it. What are we even doing? We all see it in 4K. You have to be so pumped for your guy. It looks like they're humming right now. Why do you think that is the case, and do you like him going into Tampa?
Yeah, I'm super happy for him, right? Because it breaks a little bit of the narrative about who he is as a player and whatnot. And obviously, he understands kind of the pressure that came off of everything this offseason and the move and whatnot. I think that, the Rams remind me a lot of who the Buccaneers were, honestly, last year. Super talented football team. But I think a lot of people felt this way, that they weren't doing the right stuff scheme-wise to kind of not only allow them to play to like their strengths, but not be so exposed to their weaknesses. And I think Sean's done a good job of getting back to some of the 2018 stuff, 2017 stuff that really made them good. And not only to help guys play well, again, Matthew and Odell and a guy like Tyler Higbee at tight end, but the weakest part of their offense is the internal 3 guys of their offensive line. And getting out of living in shotgun so much and putting Matthew under center and running the football a little bit more and utilizing the play action pass has not only helped him and some of the receivers, but also it's just protected some of their offensive line. So I think that's the big part. I think Cam Akers is huge. Cam looked, his vision and his physical play, his physical running last night, I think is really big going into next week. I feel good about them going to Tampa. The reality is that Sean should feel good. I think the last 2 times they've played, Sean's beaten them. They've scored a ton of points. Obviously, they played this year and they hung a ton on them. And we'll see what Tristan Wirfs' health is. I don't think Tampa can win if Tristan Wirfs doesn't play. So I just think he's that important to them. So, yeah, they should feel good. It's a huge game, obviously.
Hey, what about last night? What happened to Kyler Murray and the Cardinals offense? What is it? Is it the Rams defense was just out of their mind? What do you think went on there?
Are they dead?
What it was a coach not knowing the most important thing to start every single football game, in my opinion.
Here we go. Thank you.
You go into every game, and the number one question you should ask yourself as an offensive mind is, can we block their front? And if you can, great. You got an opportunity to do basically whatever you want, at least try. If you cannot, every single play call should be about, all right, we can't block him. What do we do? All right, we can. So 2 things I didn't like out of Cliff last night were it seemed every passing play in the first half of that game was trying to get chunks throws downfield because, well, the Rams don't have their safeties in. I don't care if I'm playing safety. You can't block their front. You can't hold the ball long enough to take those shots downfield. And then the run game was just right at the defensive line of the Rams. Like, you thought you were going to push around Aaron Donald and run the football at him. That's not – you just can't do that if you're the Cardinals. The ball should have been to the perimeter way more than it was, both in the run game and the pass game. They never utilized Kyler as a – like, my thing is this, dude. Why did you take Kyler Murray with the #1 pick if you weren't going to use him in all of his skills? If you weren't going to use him in all of his talent? Wait, his ability to run has to be a part of your football game in the designed aspect. So I thought that was a big deal. Kyler didn't play well, no doubt, but for me, it's always going to start with like the coaching and did you do the right stuff and did you not do the wrong stuff?
And I think that's, as a player's show, we kind of do the same thing, right? Like, well, there's a reason the player's doing something. Let's assume this is strategy. Other people are very coach-based. Hey, the coaches said this, the players didn't execute, whatever the case is. Let's talk about Cliff Kingsbury's record towards the end of seasons. So in the last 3 years, we'll start from this year and we'll work backwards. He lost 5 out of the last 6. Last year, 5 out of the last 7. And then 2 years ago, 7 out of the last 9. Why is that? This kind of happened with Andy Reid back in the day, right? Where there was Andy Reid season, where the beginning of the year he would win and then it would fizzle out and it would ultimately lead to them kind of getting kicked out of the playoffs and him not winning the Super Bowl. Now it's vastly different with Patrick Mahomes and they continue to evolve. What is it about Cliff Kingsbury you think that down the stretch they can't really get it done? Is that scheme? Is it the team? Is he unlucky? It seems to be a narrative here that's starting to get painted.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of all that stuff, but the biggest thing is people understanding who they are, and getting a beat on what they're trying to do offensively. You guys know that the more tape you get on somebody, the more, the better understanding you have. So Cliff's offense, I think this year's a little bit of a different anomaly. I don't want to be like, Cliff did catch a little bit of a tough break losing J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins this year. I don't think that we saw who the Cardinals at least had the potential to be with those injuries. But Cliff's offense is fundamentally based on, they run like 5 plays, and it's all based on those guys just finding space, and then what happens is his teams start to, one, study your formations even more and know what you like to do out of those formations. They start to take that space away, and it's really difficult when your quarterback, there's very little that's based upon like timing and rhythm in Cliff's offense. It's more, recess and freelance and kind of creative style. And when defenses, AJ knows more than I do, like starts to take away the tendencies of those things, the consistency of their offense loses steam. I think that's a big thing. And again, the injuries were a big part of their conversation this year.
How do they end up getting better? You think they're dead? You think they're done? You think?
No. Like,
we saw Kyler. As soon as you see Kyler in the first play of that game last night, you're like, oh, he's not here. Like, for whatever reason, it's just the swagger, the confidence. Even from Cliff, I think it's vastly different than at the beginning of the year. You think they just have to get reset, add a 6th or 7th play to the mix? Like, how do you think they go forward and get better?
Yeah, I think, Cliff at the beginning of this year, they got to get more NFL concepts that are reliable pass game wise. And I saw Cliff kind of put those into their offense a little bit more this year. Again, this year is such an anomaly, Pat, because the Cardinals offense is built around 2 people, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. It's not built upon an offensive line. It's not built upon multiple weapons. It's not built upon a consistent run scheme. It's built upon those 2 guys. And when you lose 50% of that combination, it was very difficult for Cliff to adjust to any of that. AJ Green was doing so good in his role with DeAndre Hopkins because, hey, AJ, you're going to get the 2nd or 3rd corner. I need you to have 4 catches. Great. Rondale Moore, I just need you to be a gadget guy we can get the ball to. When you had everybody's role had to become elevated and the expectations of the role became elevated. So, they got to get more NFL concepts to be a foundational part of their offense. They need to build in more timing and rhythm. They've got to understand that I get it that there's an exposure to injury with Kyler, utilizing him in the run game, but they don't do it nearly enough. And if you're not going to do that, then get rid of him. And I'm not saying they should get rid of Kyler, but you got to use his skill set. I think that's probably the 3 things that they've got to be honest about.
That's a learning curve thing. So maybe they'll just continue to grow and get better, and this might be good in the long run. They took a step from last year to this year. Will they be able to do it again? Get J.J. Watt back in the fold, super healthy. Go ahead. And we're talking to Dan Orlovsky. I know he has a meeting here in a little bit. We can't thank him enough for taking time on it in his Jeep. Right next to about 45 18-wheelers blowing right by.
That's right.
Him.
Be careful.
Hope everything's okay. Keep your head on a swivel out there. Go ahead, Ty.
Dan, I saw you gassing up that this year's 49ers team is basically the Packers' kryptonite. Are you just thinking that Jimmy G being banged up doesn't really matter because the 49ers are just going to control the clock and run it down the Packers' throats? I mean, are they dead or what's going on here?
Yeah, I didn't gas them up. I'm just telling the truth. I like your sweatshirt.
You're gassing them up.
You're gassing a little bit, Dan. You're doing it. You're doing it a little bit.
Looks like I was probably right, though.
Well, we'll find out Monday.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, well, Saturday night, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out.
No, I just think, I mean, AJ, I'll ask you the defensive guy. If the Packers were to lose a football game, what would be the number one reason that you can point to them, hey, they lost because of this? Future kind of seeing in the future, what would you say?
What if a team just runs it down their throat and controls the ball and doesn't give it to Aaron?
Right, so we're talking about a team that is one of the best run teams in football in San Francisco. I don't need to come out here and tell you guys. The challenge for Green Bay this week is this, Ty. This is the truth, dude.
Ty, he's talking to you.
I know.
Listen
up,
Ty.
Listen up. I'm listening.
This is the challenge.
Tell him, Dan.
Kyle Shanahan has people that don't play positions. So that gives him incredible versatility. And the Packers don't have people to match that up.
Who are those guys, Dane? Who are those guys?
Well, like Kyle will put Juszczyk on the field with Debo and two of those tight ends, and it becomes like to defense that could be 12 personnel, that could be 22 personnel, and again, AJ knows better than anybody. Like you match your personnel and to what you anticipate to be formation tendencies. Well, Kyle can put like 22 personnel, what looks to be on the field, and then end up in empty.
Two backs, two tight ends.
So how you're going to match those guys is just a challenge. And I don't think the Packers have that position versatility on defense. So it's just, I don't think anybody's saying that the 49ers are a good matchup for anybody. They're a bad matchup for everyone. But it's just, it's not a good, because what their strength is what the Packers' weakness is.
Well,
that's why, like, it's intriguing.
Yeah, and that's like the Taysom Hill thing. This is why Taysom Hill had like so many problems, because when he was jogging on the field, they didn't know if he was a back, a tight end, or a wide receiver. So matching up personnel groups with him is difficult. Kyle Shanahan has that with three different dudes. That's a very fascinating point, Dan Orlovsky. But let's remember the fucking Packers are on the other side. And they got to come to Lambeau. So, you know,
That's right.
Hey, they got to come into Lambeau. Dan, it's going to be a little bit cold.
I'm not saying this is a layup for.
Oh, I sort of sounded like that the way you're talking.
Pat, let me ask you this: do you think the Cincinnati Bengals are a really good football team?
Oh, I love Cincinnati Bengals. I especially like the fact that they've had a battle against the fact that their owner hates them. You know.
So you think they're a really good football team?
Who? The Bengals?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What do you fucking mean? What do you mean they're a good football team? What are we even talking about?
So who's the last team to beat the Bengals?
All right. So a couple weeks ago.
San Francisco 49ers.
Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, but they rested, right? Didn't they rest their last game of the season? Yeah.
Huh.
Hey, where's your ESPN stat with that one?
Where's that one, dude?
Oh, you got one of these? You don't. Okay. That's why we're able to. What's that? What was that face all about right there? You just made a face about my title.
Continue.
Anyways.
Everything little, huh?
Everybody. Okay, no, that's not true. Everybody is good at football right now. Okay, and congrats to the Bengals, by the way.
Right, congrats to the Bengals and Joey B. But the 49ers, and then like the 49ers defensive line is playing as good as anybody in football. Like, is it as good as anybody left in the playoffs? That defensive line is phenomenal right now. And so
They need Bosa, though, right? Doesn't a lot of it depend if Bosa can play or not?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and Fred Warner, their linebacker. So you got to anticipate, or just see what happens with Bosa. Yeah, if Bosa doesn't come this game or play, this game is drastically different. But it's just a difficult matchup for San Francisco, or for Green Bay. I mean, we needed two out of this world throws from Aaron Rodgers. The Packers did, for them to beat the 49ers.
Okay, did you know that the Niners are going to beat the Cowboys? We only got a couple of minutes. We want to get to see Connor.
I took the 49ers, yes.
Yeah, so did we. It felt like that was a layup, by the way. It felt like that was too easy. Almost everybody was on the Niners going in there. I'll be excited to see what Packers team shows up with everybody coming back healthy. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Dan, the Bills absolutely beat the piss out of the Patriots, and the Chiefs also seem to be turning it on. How do you see that game playing out?
I think that if Kansas City's going to win, Pringle's going to have a huge game, or Miko Hardman's going to have a huge game. Buffalo's coverage unit is so stinking good, and those safeties that they have make their football team defensively
no problem,
phenomenal. And I think that they'll kind of roll their coverage to Kelsey and roll their coverage to Tyreek Hill like they did earlier this year, and then it's going to have to be Pringle making some plays or Miko making some plays. Now they don't have Tre'Davious like they did the first time these teams played, so that's an interesting thing. And then I think that like Buffalo offensively, when Josh is used the way that Dable's using him right now, I think he's indefensible. There's not a single play that he can't make on the football field right now, whether runner or thrower. And like the challenge for Kansas City is they love to play man coverage. It's who they are. It's who Spags is. Josh Allen absolutely gasses man coverage. So at some point you're going to have to adjust a little bit, but you never want to get away from like your identity, so to speak. So I think if both those teams play their best game, right? If both those teams play A football games, Buffalo wins. I think Buffalo's the better team if they both play their A games.
Dane, what about Tennessee Titans? On 1 seed, they get to bye. I feel like no one's talking about them. Like, do you think these guys are going to legit have a chance?
Oh, for sure. I think a lot of that depends on what Derrick Henry's health is. I have no idea how he's playing football. But if he's healthy, that's obviously a huge thing. I think Tennessee, this game's about A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. If I was Tennessee, I would understand Cincinnati likes to play a lot of single high coverage. It gives you one-on-one on the outside. I would take shots downfield with A.J. Brown, and I would just give Julio Jones just possession throws, stop routes, curl routes, slant routes, because I don't think he's physically able to run by anybody. Their defensive line is phenomenal, and that's Cincinnati's weakness, pass protection. As much as I think Joe is amazing, Joe's going to have to play basically an incredibly clean game pre-snap to post-snap with all their coverage changed to kind of win that game. But I think he's capable because he's that special.
Who's winning the Super Bowl, Dan? Last question.
Fudge, Pat. My kids played Madden Saturday morning, and they said they were playing in the Super Bowl. Is that SoFi? And they did Buffalo versus the Rams. So I'm going to say Buffalo versus the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Oh, is that the kids that outlasted you outside?
Shit.
Little tough little kids. You got some tough kids out there. I love that. I like that little grit up there.
You want the truth? My kids are they're going to grow up with life being a little bit easier than some other kids, so you got to figure out what to make it tougher for them.
That's good parenting. We appreciate you. You had a hell of a season this year, Dan. By the way.
Great seeing you. Dan.
Hopefully, the best. AJ, cheer up, buddy.
Yeah, cheer up, AJ. Safe travels, Dan. We appreciate you. Dan Orlovsky, ladies and gentlemen. We just got a photo of Ian Rappaport on the ski lift.
Oh, nice.
And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull this up before we get to a break here. And we can't thank Dan Orlovsky for joining us enough there.
Jesus.
Ian's out there battling right now. And we appreciate Ian. Getting away from the game a little bit here in divisional round week. What?
Yeah.
Good luck. He's taller than Pine Tree in the back. He's up there pretty high.
Oh, yeah, but he's nowhere near the summit. That is the top of the bunny hill for sure.
He's warming up.
Maybe. He's pizza and french frying all the way down on his ass, I think.
Oh, so pizza is the
stop. Yeah.
Slide like that.
Yeah. No, french fry.
Little tip.
There's nobody else on the hill here.
When you're taking a selfie on the slope, put those goggles on. You're a lot cooler when they're on than when on the top of your head.
That's partially why you're doing the snow thing is to put the goggles on, right?
Bingo.
Boom. I'll never forget. My friend had a cool pair, and we were in the middle of a snowball fight. And I had those things on. I felt like I was invisible and impenetrable.
Yeah.
I was flying my face around and they said, how we doing? I felt so cool. Ian chooses not to wear them because he says, look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. I ain't scared of a goddamn thing. Is there snow burn? Isn't that something that happens?
Oh, yeah. Wind burn, too.
Yeah.
He's going pretty fast.
Watch your face, Ian. It's playoff football, dude.
Yeah, be careful, Ian. It's a great helmet, though.
I said this for Sami Zayn. The helmet does not protect your face.
No.
That's right.
So make sure you protect that thing, especially if Air Force One's coming to the face. Or a Kinshay from Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, he's taking skiing lessons?
Kinshasa, sorry.
Or a Claymore kick.
I think he's all by himself. I think he's fucking will do it alone. He went to Columbia, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a Lion.
It's a long way to go.
That's Ivy League?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Columbia Lions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all these schools, they never really reached out to me much. I didn't know this.
What?
Yeah. I wasn't in the Ivy League department. I don't know why.
That's kind of bullshit.
No, probably my fault, if I had to guess. Grades, mostly.
Well, they weren't going down to that kicking camp either.
No,
they don't do that.
They weren't checking it
No.
out.
They don't know.
My SAT was high, though.
That helps.
And the grades were low, so a lot of people were saying,
That hurts.
you don't try.
Yeah.
So you don't try, that's even worse. I'm like, no, just getting through, just getting through, just getting by, doing what we got to do. Anyways, we're 4 minutes, we're back. We're going to answer some phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line. Big thanks to Dan Orlovsky, who's currently in a meeting right now, literally one up to the second for his NFL live show today. It's going to be great.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're back at 4 minutes with some phone calls. You can't thank you enough. AJ's going to get high definition too, which is good.
Is it?
Really? Yeah, I think so, right, AJ?
Not anytime soon from what it looks like.
Fix the antennas on his TV.
Oh, yeah, you got to kind of turn him around.
Someone needs to call Tim Cook, figure out FaceTime with this whole situation.
Yeah.
No, dude, call the Geek Squad.
Hey, congratulations, by the way. You're right. Call Tim Cook. There's absolutely nothing toxic about that at all.
No.
Because that is normally the type of sentence in which you try to shoehorn something despicable into. And this is the new Zoom, AJ.
Could have called Bill Gates.
Yeah, you see, but that's not FaceTime. Hashtag PMS Zoom AJ. Go ahead and take a photo. Take a photo of right now. We'll give away an autographed jersey from AJ Hawk.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
And that'll be the giveaway. Hashtag PMS Zoom AJ. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls. Cheers.
Can you parlay OBJ anytime touchdown, Lakers money line?
Yes.
And I think you need one more to complete the hype boy trifecta.
James Madison.
Hold on. Let's put the hype boy trifecta together.
I think it might be the last one. Might be Penguins money line, right? Because LeBron owns part of the Penguins.
He does own.
Yeah. I think you just fucking pieced it together, pal.
All right,
Son of a bitch has done
it. Lakers money line, OBJ to score a touchdown, and the Pens money line is plus 1241 on the parlay. That's the hype boy fucking parlay of the night.
That's the best bet I've ever heard.
That is.
Hey, baby, Mitt.
See, there's a college basketball boost. Indiana and Delaware both to win plus 170.
You on it?
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to go Odell Beckham anytime touchdown. I really like that.
Okay.
Kyler Murray under 255 and a half passing yards. Duh, he's going to hit that, or he's going to go under that. And then Los Angeles Rams money line.
What are you trying to figure out here?
Trying to find the side.
What's your angle?
Yeah, that's
What
what
is
I'm
your
trying to
fucking
figure
angle?
out what the angle is.
You know the side.
This is prime time hockey. We have
You
to
know
bet,
the side.
We have to bet this game.
It's the Pens. It's the Pens.
After the adrenaline and exhaustion of yesterday,
Oh,
and that
Knights have lost to the Leafs and Blackhawks back to back.
Knights got some things to figure out.
Give me the Guinos money
Yeah,
line. You
Guinos.
think Bucks?
Guinos.
What are we doing?
What are you talking? What are you yelling at me
This
for?
is your team. You just said you got really crack and bet the Guinos money line.
I'm on the Guinos
All right.
tonight, dude.
Good bet.
I've always been on the Guinos tonight. What are we talking about?
That's what I've been saying.
All
That's what
right.
I've been saying.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee.
Unreal.
Oh, yeah. Foxy's added some new tools to the arsenal.
A couple transitions.
Some new shots to the bag. Wow. I assume we've had access to these for a long time.
I've known about them forever.
Yeah. Why not today?
I guess. I mean, you just found out about them, so let's go.
Can we hit one more of those
Yeah,
things?
here we go. We'll go to the boys.
Yeah.
Whoa! Shit, to you!
Bring it
Hey! How about this one? Whoa!
What? Bring it back. Blue. I would be, I would die. If I would be, I would die. That's Foxy. Hey, way to really up the game.
Foxy.
That boy Foxy. Welcome back to the show.
Those are awesome.
Awesome.
Unbelievable.
Hey, one more. Hit one more. Do we hit
Come on.
one?
New one.
How about this? That one doesn't do anything.
Foxy.
Is there a dissolve one?
See, this is where pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. We got too greedy.
That's right.
We had a good run on 3 or 4 transitions. We tried to reach into 5 or 6, and we just didn't have them in the bag.
Bucket ran dry.
Keep working over there. Yeah, the well ran dry. That is 100% case. Yeah.
Some more water.
Yeah, we need to call them in maybe next week. We'll find some new ones in there, but we appreciate you for joining us. It is this show, by the way, that we'll be talking about. The show that you just watched right there. Hey, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I just seen the pubes that you referenced yesterday in the bathroom. I stopped by the boys' bathroom on the way back in here.
How does that happen?
Yeah, who hates this office so much in their living that they do that, see that it happens, and then just walks out of here?
But no, how does it happen? Does your body hair just fall off when you take a leak?
No, that was clearly somebody trimming their pubes.
Trimming in there?
That's what I'm saying. This is a problem. This is a real problem. This used to happen in NFL buildings where somebody would leave like their used towel or shit in the shower, and then they wouldn't flush the toilets and everything, and there would have to be a full meeting like, hey, we all have to fucking live here, dude. Treat this with some respect here. Act as if you're an adult. I feel like I'm going to have to do it. When you were talking about yesterday, I thought you were a little toxic, and being ridiculous. There's somebody's entire pube holes underneath that urinal in there, and they didn't even think to clean it up. No, everybody else can deal with this. Who is it? We got to find out.
What a spot, though. What would ever make you be like, okay, hey, let me go trim this puppy up. Let's go stand by the urinal.
Yeah, and who hates their job like that? Like who hates their job to do that and leave everybody else to deal with? Like we are a very small group here. I'm almost disgusted, actually. But somebody's got fresh fucking balls, though. I know that. I mean, that was an entire mountain of pubes. And honestly, I don't know who it could be.
I mean, I don't know who's shaving their nuts in front of the urinal. I sure as hell know it's not me. But.
Well, see, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even get into an investigation on who's.
I mean, you could test it, right? You could probably get a hair sample from everybody and test everything against that.
I'm ready and willing to share.
That'd be interesting.
Cameras. I still vote for cameras.
We can't have cameras in the bathroom, but we do need to weed out people that don't give a fuck about this place before we get into the igloo. That'll happen. Okay, I would do an entire review of who it could potentially be. Dropping trowel in front of the urinal and lawnmowering themselves, and then seeing it fall onto the floor and not doing anything about it. Like what? Who are you?
Despicable.
See?
What if it was Michael Cole? just he left you a treat. He's like, oh, I can't wait till these guys see this. Or maybe Bill Burr.
That's disgusting. In there.
I'll be a different color. Bill.
Yeah, it's not Bill. There's a couple people that could be ruled out immediately.
Bill never used a bathroom.
It's like Guess Who over there with pubes, dude. It's a fucking unbelievable game. Does it have a mustache? I don't know. Looks like not anymore. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to who is doing it, and why do you guys not care about this place at all?
I stopped using the urinal after I saw that.
I mean, you guys have to poop in there and pee in there. I don't know why.
Is there other toilets or just the urinal?
Oh, there's shit on the toilet as well. I just checked out, and I don't know how you would stand up and see what you left on the toilet and be like, yeah, this is cool. I'm going to get out of here. I mean, what type of fucking disgusting. You guys not have a pretty good life in here? And I guess we're talking to everybody at the moment, but everybody could, and you too. Listen, I don't know what you're smiling about. You feel so good over there. But you did pique my interest. I'm like, I haven't been in that bathroom in months. Maybe
I was confused. I was just genuinely confused. I'm like, this, it always confuses me when you see like nasty hair in a bathroom, but I saw a large like clump almost stuck to the bottom of the floor right below the urinal. I was like, what is happening over here?
Yeah, and in a public bathroom, like a mall or something where people don't have to go there every day, you're maybe there once a year, once a month, like go ahead and do what you got to do. I can see how you could do it. But this is your place that you come in every single day for 8-9 hours. I don't know why you would do that unless you just are completely disgusted with the entire place as a whole. That's unbelievable. I mean, I just got smacked in the mouth with a little set of reality there. We got to figure out who. The enemy is always within your own camp. That's what they say. It's probably your pubes.
You think this is my pubes? I'm the only one that's got a groom every weekend just in case I run into some 3 that wants to hang out with me, you know?
Well, that's what we're saying. that doesn't help your cause.
Yeah, I keep my shit groomed, Pat.
You're the one with the manscaped.
That's what
You're
we're
always holding
saying.
it.
That's
You think
that
I'm
does
bringing
not
in my
help your cause.
exonerate you?
This is not.
Hey, we can test it. Let's get the DNA kits out. I'd love to get to the bottom of this.
Omicron. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of COVID on all those pubes in there. I mean, that's nasty, AJ. Honestly, you are the most toxic human I've ever encountered. So I thought you were lying about it, but it's true. What is the deal?
That's not something I would make up.
Well.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I would.
No, you kind of fell. Yeah, you kind of back. You kind of backed
No,
off.
I really don't think I would. Hey, man, who's got all the pubes stuck in the ground? Like, that's not. You could easily show, it's not there.
I do love the fact that you came here for the national championship. We stopped in here, ran into the bathroom, did some quick, and then bounced out real quick. Those pubes been there for a couple weeks too, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, jeez, Louise. Sorry, you guys just moved to the women's bathroom. Let's go do this to the other bathroom over here, and then we'll have to clean the whole thing or whatever the case is. That's unbelievable. I guess I don't keep shit that clean either in here. People, we did a little quick tour around the office yesterday because we have so much shit just collected, obviously.
Still a coffin, by the way.
Yeah, there's a coffin and a casket back over here.
Wait, why?
Just because we had it for the OCW Straight to Hell match.
That's right. Yeah.
Had to have it, and it was never
a full blown casket.
Oh yeah.
The guys didn't want it back.
Yeah, they didn't want to take it back. And there's red paint all in the side of it, as if there's blood everywhere, because the devil.
You said, what happened?
The devil went into the coffin.
The devil got sent right back to hell where he belongs. But yeah, we got a casket in here, a full ring. I mean, let alone all this stuff. I just didn't know we were collecting pubes.
Did somebody claim that casket for when either they die or a family member and they don't have to pay for one?
No, it came from the funeral home.
Yeah, there was a body in like 24 hours beforehand, they said.
I did not know that. I did not know
they
that.
did.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Zito did go pick it up, so I think he knows a little bit more about it than
But
anyone.
the guy did not want it back, so I don't know what happened to that
We
thing.
can't have pubes just all over. Because this is like John. I feel like John Taffer. You know, when John Taffer says like, so you walked past this every single day and was like, yeah, this is okay. Somebody else would do it. Like somebody shaved their pubes in front of the urinal, saw it fall all over the floor, and said, fuck it, somebody else will clean
I just
up.
can't believe that really happened. Like I don't. What would make him go? I guess what? So say somehow, like Connor said, say he met some 3 on his phone on Tinder, and all of a sudden, she's like, hey, 20 minutes, come meet me. He's like, oh, I gotta trim up quick, and then boom, and then he's out. Is that what could happen?
And why wouldn't you do it in a stall where there at least
Get a
there's
vacuum. Always have some kind of vacuum around if you're going to do that.
Yeah, at least cover your like these people didn't even care enough to cover it up. Like they didn't even think to be like, no.
It's almost grown into like the concrete
Floor.
flooring you have down there.
Yeah, I just noticed it, dude. I probably have some on my fucking shoes right now. Golly. Whose pubes are? We'll find out. We'll look.
Hey, Jackass. The next Jackass movie looks good though.
You want to make it into a beard? Is that what you're thinking?
Well,
about?
it got me thinking about it because I saw the preview of Jackass. Like this one looks the best of all of them. I can't wait.
I agree. I am excited. Steve-O was in there, so that means they handled the business with Steve-O.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Knoxville, obviously back trying to kill himself at all costs. It seems like they did bring the fastball back, and there's a younger generation of the Jackass. I wonder if they're going to pass the baton to said Jackass E or whatever the next level. They're going to have to bring it because we got decades and decades of Knoxville and Steve-O and the boys trying to kill themselves. And I think these guys are trying to go over the top with this.
Would you watch a Jackass without Steve-O and all them?
No.
I was going to say, I hope that's not the case because it's not Jackass if Johnny Knoxville and the boys aren't there.
That's
Bam's not there though, right? Bam didn't make the movie, did he?
Well, I think
there were some disputes, I believe, with Bam. And,
did they figure it out though? Like, did he shoot any scenes?
Well, remember Steve-O, there was disputes too. Whenever he
Yeah.
came into studio, there was conversation and negotiation happening, and he said, you know, he hopes it happens, but it's not a given or whatever. So they figured that whole thing out. I don't think
Bam was there, but then they took all his parts out. Like,
oh, so that's why AJ brought it up.
Yeah, it was a different
No,
problem.
I was genuinely curious. They were having big issues with him because he was in and out of rehab. They were trying to keep him sober. He came back, had complaints, and Steve-O and Johnny had to stand up and almost kick him off the movie.
Jeez. Hey, those movies get serious.
That's
Those
right.
movie sets get real serious. I've heard
Steve-O's got a good podcast in his van. He does.
Steve-O?
Good show.
Yeah, we're
it's a
big
good show.
Steve-O fans. Steve-O is very nice to us. Came
brought
to
a dog here.
Very, very cool. Yeah, he had a dog here
Yeah.
they found in Peru, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Like that. It was awesome. Let's go to the phones. So maybe these people have a little bit of an idea of who's cutting their pubes.
See if anybody else does any other people that work in a public place. Like, hey, you guys ever see pubes just cemented into the floor below your urinal?
Just definitely from somebody that works at the place too, and everybody is around each other all day, every day. Isn't that interesting? I mean, that's it. Somebody right now amongst us
Somebody's nervous.
Sitting here listening to all this, and they're like, don't test the pubes. Like, please.
I know you too. You know, with your following, there's going to be people reaching out to be like, hey, Pat, real simple. I'll send you a little test kit. You send it out. Boom, boom, boom. We got it.
We just need one piece of hair from everybody. Boom, boom, boom. Then send the pubes, and we'll figure it out. Now, granted, that'll go into a database forever, and who knows what we will do with that entire thing. But
well, just like your 23andMe.
How you doing?
By the way, you're Italian too.
Yeah. Wait till that hair comes back. I had a friend who was running a gym in West Virginia. I think they were running a gym. I think it was in West Virginia. I met the person in West Virginia. Who knows the case? But they were, trying to hire. We needed a gym manager. And a drug test was a part of it, and it was a hair thing or whatever because of, for whatever reason, the type of gym it was and the shit that they had. Somebody showed up completely bald, shaved the eyebrows, hair, mustache, beard, clean. The whole entire body, completely hair, no hair at all. Showed up, had a great interview, and said like, "Hey, we're gonna need a hair whenever it grows, like tomorrow. We're gonna need
alopecia. Got alopecia. I don't grow hair."
I guess it does stay in your hair, by the way, for like the next month or so. You can't just shave your entire body, which is a shame. Anyways, we're not going to test everybody, but goddamn it, stop putting your pubes in our office. All right? There's other people that work here. And there's people that come in from Ohio who are toxic who don't need to be puking everywhere. But what the hell type of operation is this? FanDuel Igloo is going to get ruined. It's quite an investment. We don't need pubes bouncing around everywhere. Keep the pube cut into this office. All right, when we move to the Igloo, enough with the pube shaving, okay?
Get it all out of your system here, guys, before you go to the Igloo.
I don't think there's going to be any slowing down, but remember, the lawnmower is incredibly convenient when it comes to shaving.
I wouldn't even touch that. That's probably the one.
Like hot butter.
I'll drop my pants right
That's
now.
definitely the one.
So will I.
I'm rocking 1970s, pal.
I got nothing to hide.
Me too, bud. We're married.
Yeah, we're married. So.
Yeah, that is where it's at. But somebody actually said I trim all the time.
I do. So you think if I was trimming every day in the bathroom?
We don't have
someone
time
would
to
see me?
get into this. Let's get back to sports. But that is disgusting, whoever it is. Fuck off, okay, for your rudeness to everybody else. But go one. Go Rip. Go Rip. Go Rip. Let's go to Robert in Kentucky. What's going on, Bob?
Hey, Pat. How are you guys doing?
Well, not great. I mean, I got somebody just shaving their pubes in the office, leaving it there, acting like somebody else should clean it up because they're so entitled and everything like that. But we will get to the bottom of it, and it won't make its way to the Igloo. How are you, Bob?
I'm doing good. Got a quarantine because some jackwagon at my work decided they wanted to catch COVID, and so I'm home because of being exposed or whatever.
Well, we hope the jackwagon didn't get you the bad strain because the bad strain will get you in trouble. We hope you're okay, Bob. Thanks for allowing us to be a part of your quarantine. What do you want to talk about?
I just want to talk about the Tennessee Titans. AJ alluded to it earlier that no one is talking about it. All I hear people saying is like, it's going to be Chiefs, it's going to be Bills, and it's like, they just disregard the Titans. I just think it's wrong. We got King Henry coming back, and I just want to point out he's number 22, going to be coming back on the 22nd day of January, 22 years after we just went to the Super Bowl last time against the Rams.
Wow.
So, my prediction is a repeat. It's going to be Rams, Titans at the Rams Stadium, and Derrick Henry is going to run the ball right down Matthew Stafford's throat. I'm so sorry, Foxy, but your boy is not going to get a ring.
Okay, thank you, Bob. I like that the Titans fans are very, very passionate. I'll be in Nashville on Friday night. I'm assuming it's going to be electrifying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm stopping by the bus, too, with the boys. We'll play on Willie.
Do it.
I think so. We were talking last night, and then he put out a tweet, obviously, with a nice bird call. I think we're going to try to make it happen. Normally on those SmackDowns, I fly in, go to the arena, do the show, fly out. There's not a lot of time to do a lot of, hey, how's it going? But that particular show deserves it. I think it would be an honor to chit-chat with them. Also, Taylor and Willie have been on this show. It'd be cool. It's Nashville. It's going to be awesome. But that place is going to be electrifying this weekend. Nashville always does big games, big events right. I'm excited to see how they kick off this divisional round weekend down there.
Well, don't you think everybody starting from Braves to the rest of the team to their whole fan base is just super pissed off that they have flown under the radar? They won 12 games this year, and they lost Derrick Henry for the majority of their season, I feel like. So they're a good football team for some reason, I guess. Maybe their offense isn't like super high flying, crazy numbers. Is that why people don't respect them?
I think it's just because it's Nashville and it's Tennessee, and they're like I honestly believe that's the case. The AFC South, not that great. The bottom two teams are the worst two teams in all of the divisions. They have the worst record down there in Jacksonville and Houston this season. The Colts, The team that was supposed to go on a run out of the AFC South just really never kind of came to fruition. Hard Knocks was in Indianapolis, and this is the same thing the Raiders fall into. It's like Patrick Mahomes is in that division, so it's difficult to talk about the Raiders knowing that the Chiefs probably at the end of the day are going to be the team. I think a lot of people thought that the Colts were going to be the team out of the AFC South throughout the entire season for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but the Tennessee Titans, number 1 seed in the AFC, so many injuries, they're getting all their people back. There's no reason not to chit-chat about them potentially having a great fucking divisional round and a playoff run. Honestly, I honestly believe it.
Is it because like Chiefs and Bills, even like Ravens, like those teams were the preseason teams, like, hey, these guys could win the AFC, and the Titans were not in that conversation. So now that they are in there and the Chiefs and Bills are still there, that people are still aren't talking for that because of that.
Well, you always got to justify why you're right. You know, and a lot of people do a lot of those on their takes. Like, hey, I was right. This is right. I said the Chiefs. I said the Bills. I said that. Not a lot of people were projecting the Tennessee Titans, although they signed Julio Jones when a lot of people could. That gave them a little spark in the conversation. Oh, they get Julio Jones. Now you got Derrick Henry. Now you got play action with Julio opening it up, and A.J. Brown's unbelievable. Then that conversation just stopped, and everybody's like, yeah, but it's still the AFC, and we still got the Chiefs and the Bills that are going to represent. And Titans fans are, you know, very loud, very defensive. I respect it. I appreciate it. Do we think they can beat the Bills right now? They already did in the season. Do we think they can beat the Chiefs right now? They already did in the season. I think they're feeling very good about themselves, and Vrabes has a lot to promote the boys with.
Yeah, I just feel like the Titans as a team probably feel similar to how the Buffalo Bills defense felt coming into this last playoff game. We saw Micah Hyde, big pick. They felt disrespected, no Pro Bowlers, even though, like, on a lot of metrics, they're the number 1 defense in the NFL. I think the Tennessee Titans whole team feels that way.
Imagine Vrabel just coming out and actually punching Zach Taylor right in the face before. That'd be sweet. Yeah, he walks out half field. What's up, pussy? To Zach Taylor. Wouldn't that just be like, that's how I view, that's what I think Vrabel talks like to people. I don't know what.
To his friends, like, it depends how close he is. If he actually is buddies with him, he could do it.
I assume that's just how he is. Like, I think he is the biggest Ohio meathead of all time. It just so happens to be like a football IQ at a level 1,000 or whatever in there. The way he operates and the way that team has gone is how everybody in Detroit hopes MCDC goes.
Well, we were supposed to actually have Vrabel. We picked Patricia instead, so that set us back about 10 years.
Vrabel would have been perfect for Detroit.
Oh, my God, it would have been awesome.
Vrabel has a brain. He didn't want to go up there. He knows that his best, path to success was with Derrick Henry in Tennessee.
Imagine Vrabel just walking down Broadway. Well, who's in here? Some country musician. What's up? Do a song. Do it. All right, and we're going to go outside. Like, Vrabel's life down there has to be amazing. He is so much success as a head coach. The way he goes about winning, the way he keeps the boys all together. And he said, cut off my dick to win another one. Like, that is, you have to have that type of stuff. I love everything about the success he is having. I hope he continues to ride that mountaintop and become a Super Bowl champion head coach. It'll be good for everybody. But it's going to be a tough road in the AFC for a long time. And maybe it's because Tannehill is our quarterback, too.
I think it is.
Yeah, a little bit.
You start thinking about it, it's like, well, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Josh Allen. All right, how do you feel about those two? Well, Josh Allen's the prototype. Patrick Mahomes is the $500 million quarterback. And although Tannehill has gotten $200 million contracts, everybody knows that team is supposed to run through Derrick Henry in the backfield. So maybe that's why, because it is a quarterback-driven league. Whatever the case, they stomp through a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be forced to talk about him, and I think that's how Vrabel wants it.
Well, and that's, their strength is being able to take it out of the hands of guys like Mahomes or Josh Allen. If they can run the ball with Derrick Henry and just chew the clock and like be in like a, phone booth all game, they're so physical. Like, they can win those close scoring games, and they're probably more comfortable in those situations than a lot of teams are.
Let's go, Titans, huh? Maybe the Titans going to run, but
imagine Vrabes. Hey, think about Vrabes in a Super Bowl victory parade. He will be the MVP of that sucker.
Oh, and they'll be on all those pedal things in Nashville.
The pedal bars.
The pedal bars. That's what they'll do down in Nashville. I can't wait to see how many of those there are on Friday down there. Are they still going into these cold-ass winter months?
I think so.
I would assume so.
The last time we were down there, I saw 6 per block. Unbelievable.
Where everybody's pedaling into the whole bar?
Yeah. Yep. And then every time they see each other, they have to scream. Yeah! Battle. There's another. Battle. Somebody's got piss. They're a good time. They look like a blast. I mean, I've never got to experience it. I hope I can. Next hour in about 6 minutes, it's going to be a big one. We're taking calls. Cheers. I hate a lot of people for the way that they acted after that Friday thing. There's no way you're isolated enough that you don't hear any. You had to have heard. There's some massive names, politicians. I mean, your name has been spoke by a lot of people. Are you just, because you're like, hey, love will cure this thing. How are you not going to hold a grudge to everybody? And do you know that you're probably never going to win an MVP again? That's probably never going to happen, right?
I think that's a legitimate statement.
Legit though, like that. There's a lot of people that vote for that I think are not faint. Like, how do you isolate that? How do you stay away from that? Because you're talking about everybody on earth talking about you. That's not getting you down at all. I don't know. That's incredible mental toughness if that's the case.
Well, you know what? I think first, if you find your identity in yourself and you don't find your identity in the opinions of others, you don't need that validation and that love from other people. You can get it from yourself, and that's not being selfish. That's just learning how to in a healthy way love yourself and respect yourself, and believe in yourself. And it definitely was tested, by some of the comments that I heard. And so I'm human. I mean, stuff can definitely hurt your feelings, but look, I shared an opinion that is polarizing. I get it. And I misled some people about my status, which I take full responsibility of, those comments. But in the end, I have to stay true to who I am and what I'm about. And I stand behind the things that I said. And I, have a ton of empathy for people who have been going through the worst part of this pandemic, which has affected all of us in different ways. But so many people, like I said, with lives that were lost, lives that were forever changed. And I have a ton of compassion and empathy for those people. And I've tried to help out, as much as I can.
Yeah.
The other stuff is so out of my control. And there's going to be people that don't like you and hate you for things you said, or might not even understand what you said or know what you said. It might just see a headline, and that's fine. I believe that people are entitled to their opinion, and even if it's an opinion that's unfavorable of me. But I'm going to continue to try and be the best version of me moving forward, and I'm excited about getting back on the field as soon as possible.
Hey, do you know if offense or defense is getting introduced this week in your game, and have you thought about it all, like what the reaction may be if offense is introduced and you're the last guy out? Have you thought about that?
I think it is offense, and I'm excited. There's nothing like running out of that tunnel last, especially.
You think it'll be different one way anyway than your normal, how they normally respond?
I don't know. I hope not.
They should show that on the network.
Oh, that clip will make its way.
Oh, yeah.
That clip will make its way around. Whenever you're working on golf, do you still have the same routine that you had whenever you were younger now, or is it much different? And how often do you just go down there and just hit Phil Mickelson flop shots all day? But anytime you turn one sideways and you flatten it, you're like, oh, watch this. I'm going to do like Phil Mickelson does. And then you just go out there. Normally you either blade it, hit it straight up in the air to the right, or you somehow get lucky and it goes and everybody's like, oh my God.
Incredible shot.
Phil Mickelson.
Wow.
That's what that is kind of become, and I remember you hit the one over your head that one time. That was a mind blower from me. Is the short game something you've always just been good at, or are you good at it because that's all you work like so much on it at all times?
When I was a kid, my dad had a little chipping area in our backyard and putting green, and so I would just go out there and hit balls because I couldn't really go to the golf course, and all I did was shots inside 30 yards. And it got very monotonous to hit the same shot over and over, so I'd go behind the avocado tree. I'd go back around the other trees and bushes and rough and so forth. And so I would get creative as a kid hitting those shots. And you kind of learn a couple of things. But what I would say, Pat, is that there's really only one way to chip effectively, because you're coming in with no coverage on the ball. You're coming in with so much loft that the leading edge is coming in first. So you have to have your weight forward. That's it. You have to have your weight forward and drive the club down into the ground. And most people, when they do that, their hands either come back or their weight comes back and the leading edge comes up and blades it. Now, you can kind of flip your hands a little bit if you have a good lie. Like if the ball's sitting in the first cut or it's sitting up, but that technique will not work all the time. And so that's why I prefer and believe that the technique where you have your weight forward, your hands forward, and you drive the club down to the ground will be consistent every time. So lay that club flat, move that ball off your left toe, get that ball off your front left, there you go, and open that face flat and just drive the club down into the ground. The ball will pop up like a gem.
I think I'm a scratch golfer.
Let's go!
I think it makes sense, by the way, that your childhood was spent within 30 yards of a green. My childhood was spent kicking a soccer ball off the side of a house. Worked out for me. It's worked out for you much better.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. Hour 3 on this glorious Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Shout begin right now. Shout to that beat drop. Shout to you for watching youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. AJ Hawk to my left. All of the boys are here. The Toxic Table at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys at Tone Diggs is here. We can't wait to chat with you for the next hour. Aaron Rodgers will be joining us in about 57 minutes. It is a work day, a practice day, because they're playing on Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait for that entire situation there. I mean, you're talking about 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. It's an entire weekend, and we're going to be able to fall asleep early on Sunday because they moved the game up a little bit. Let's go. You know, these late night games, I appreciate, I respect. I like that, you know, it's something to look forward to at night, and the West Coast gets a chance to enjoy them earlier. But not being able to see the end of a blowout is a little frustrating, okay? Yeah. And I'm not saying that the Bills-Chiefs going to be a blowout, but I think that thing starts at about 6:30 there. That thing's going to be over by 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's great news for everybody for our Mondays. And by the time we get in here on Overreaction Monday, the table will be set for championship round. There's a lot of great things happening. Go ahead, Tone Diggs.
I was just thinking Saturday night in Green Bay, hey, what's the weather going to be like? High of 1 degree.
I mean,
icy cold.
That turtleneck's going to come out. AJ, that's a real advantage for Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay.
I would say, especially when Jimmy Garoppolo has torn ligaments in his thumb. He even said on that one interception when he was rolling out to his left that he didn't have a good grip on the ball. Like, that's all it was. Like, he couldn't get the ball like he wanted to, largely, I'm sure, because of that injury. So you couple that with what the high is 1. Do we have any idea, like, have they anticipated what the wind may be like?
I assume it's going to be breezy, right? It's going to be breezy out there. And you were there a lot longer than I was. Is it just a constant wind out there because there ain't shit to stop it?
No, it's actually not. Like, that's the thing. Like, some games it could be 0 and very little wind, and it's actually okay. It's really cool. And then some games it could be 15 degrees with 30-mile-an-hour wind, and that is way worse and a lot harder to play.
Yeah, wind chill will definitely get you. And I think maybe I'm just jaded because every time I've gone there, it has been incredibly windy and cold as shit. I mean, just, okay, this is how this goes. Now, that's a lie because we played a preseason game there, and Aaron and the boys, I think they hung 50 on us in that particular game, and there was an entire celebration, and the fans didn't leave for it. It was still breezy, though. It was warm, but it was still breezy. What a home field advantage that is. But Kyle Shanahan's not scared to throw the ball or attempt to throw the ball 4 times, 5 times in a game. You know, that Belichick win over the Bills weeks and weeks ago in the middle of a windstorm. Shanahan is not scared to do that. And just like Dan Orlovsky has said, the 49ers are built to take their game on the road anywhere, and we're just going to have to sit here and wait and see what happens.
Well, do you think there's any thought that they might use Trey Lance in a few packages just because it adds another guy that can run the ball in that backfield with the Niners? Because if it is like that and Jimmy does have trouble holding onto the ball, like Shanahan might just turn around and say, we're going to run it 50 times today.
I'm a little disappointed in myself because I wanted to ask Rap Sheet, what's the future look like? If Jimmy G goes on a run, has he done enough to maintain, like, hey, he's going to be the starter next year? Or are they definitely moving on to Trey Lance? They lose in Green Bay to Lambeau with a fucked up thumb and a shoulder issue. Is that enough for them to say, we're going to move on? Is Trey Lance going to get a chance to see the field because how hurt Jimmy G is? Like, what does the future look like there? We didn't ask Ian. We'll have him on again at some point. We will definitely ask that. That picture probably becomes a little bit more clear after the game on Saturday night, but there's a lot to figure out here for the future. Speaking of the future, we didn't ask Ian about this either. Mike Mayock fucking gone. See you later, pal. That means probably, right, Bisaccia probably gone. And did that mean when Derek Carr said, I'll be interested in who the head coach is about my future here, did he say he wants Bisaccia? Did he say he wants to be a part of the conversation? Will he be a part of the conversation? And why is everybody saying Jim fucking Harbaugh is going to the Raiders? Is that how you feel?
I definitely heard that Harbaugh may be looking for an NFL job and looking for teams to show interest. I don't know what's his ties to the Raiders. Like, just they like that how he carries himself.
I guess it would be a splash hire for Mark Davis in Las Vegas, especially after everything that happened.
You could put him on the billboards and everything, and you could pump him up and being like Mr. Vegas, I guess. And he is very unique and eccentric, so maybe that would like drive some more attention to the team,
I guess, and the people would be able to say, like, okay, we got a guy who's been there, done that, is able to win, a big-time name, a player, a coach, which the Davis family probably enjoys. Bisaccia should be on one of these lists, though, to maybe run a team, but there's no way he'll be able to, maybe he will. In those, Italians are great speakers. Maybe in the interview process, you'll be able to learn a little bit more about Richie Bisaccia and why you would hire him, but this is his first head coaching opportunity, special teams guy. I don't know if there's a lot of owners that are like, hey, give me Richie Bisaccia, even though he was able to accomplish the impossible this year with the Raiders and everybody seemed to love him over there. Seems like his days are numbered. He's out of there. And maybe Harbaugh's using this for negotiation because although he got a new deal with Michigan, I think at the beginning of last season, they ended up
took a pay cut.
Yeah, because they stunk, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They were bad.
Yeah, and I think they've said like that's one of the rumors why he maybe opened NFL jobs because he's still pissed off that they made him take a pay cut.
Well, they might have made him take a pay cut. I heard he took a pay cut because how much he loved Michigan and wanted to stay there, and the production wanted that. But that's all probably a narrative PR spin.
Yeah, he handled it well. Publicly, he absolutely said the right things and said like, yeah, this is obviously what should happen, whatever. But he's not happy about it behind the scenes.
It's an Ohio State guy potentially trying to drive a wedge through the Michigan program, but
not at all.
Well,
not
especially
at all.
what happened with James
sense.
Franklin and Mel Tucker. They just got those big paydays. I'm sure Harbaugh's not happy about that after winning the Big Ten.
Well, and you can use this particular interest from the NFL maybe as leverage for a negotiation at your current job, which is what John Gruden did for 10 years in the Monday Night Football booth. His name would get floated by his agent for a head coaching job somewhere, and he'd go to ESPN. I won't call Monday Night Football still, but I'll tell you what, man. I got this going on. Need an extra $2-3 million. You got it. Boom, boom, boom. Coaches have an interesting way of creating leverage with opportunity. After one good season with Michigan, it seems like, with Harbaugh.
One good season.
Now all of a sudden he's back in the NFL conversations. Is this all for leverage or is this real? I don't know. He took the Niners to the Super Bowl, right? So that is what people will hang their hat on?
Yeah, I could see him enjoying the NFL game a lot. I think he's a football dude. We know that, but I could see him wanting to get back into the league. He has so much pressure on him at Michigan, and it's so tough to win every year in and year out.
The NFL?
It is in the NFL as well, too. Yes, it is. But I feel like at Michigan, maybe he feels like he's topped out. He's like, hey, I don't know. Like, how much better can we get?
Michigan, we can't keep up with those dudes in the South anyways. No. So we got Michigan to the college football playoff. Maybe he thinks he had success. I proved that I could be successful not only at Stanford, at Michigan, at San Fran, everywhere has had. Maybe that's what he wants to go on, accomplish a new task. I'm not sure.
Well, last offseason, he was the favorite to be the Lions coach at one point at plus 200. So I'm just thinking it's the rumor mill. They're just going to keep churning this out every single offseason.
And what names are always on that rumor mill? And who is going to get that Raiders gig? It has to be somebody. Mayock is probably wondering what the fuck happened. Like, hey, we were able to keep a team on the tracks. We have a pretty good roster. We were able to make the playoffs. The Colts weren't able to make the playoffs. They were a great team. It's probably just a fresh start for Mark Davis, I guess. We need to get rid of everything that happened in the past, and we need to have an incredibly fresh start. The Raiders gave Harbaugh his start in coaching in 2002. Andrew Brandt tweeted out earlier when everybody was asking why Harbaugh is being linked to the Raiders. 19 years ago, the Davis family said, hey, Johnny Comeback, Jimmy comeback, big time player. Why don't you come coach with us in the Raiders? Maybe that's a tie-in, but I think everybody has some sort of tie in the NFL to everybody.
He was also, coaching in San Francisco at the time. The Raiders were still in Oakland, right? So they were right across the bay, seeing that. And Harbaugh has a very good coaching record in the NFL. Granted, they made it to the Super Bowl, they didn't win, but he was in the NFC championship game 3-4 times in a row.
Yeah, and that is still being utilized, by the way, for when terrible quarterbacks are playing. How come Kaepernick isn't getting a job? Now, we are too far removed for that conversation to have legitimacy at this point, but it was a very real thing because it seemed like Harbaugh and Kaepernick had a lot of success. Then the offense coordinator goes over to Baltimore with Lamar and has a lot of success. It's like, can Harbaugh do that again if he was given the opportunity? We shall see. Las Vegas is a beautiful place. You're going to be able to get some free agents and everything like that. But will Harbaugh be a guy that goes in there and does better than what Richie Bisaccia was just able to do and what Mike Mayock was able to do, I guess? And I guess that's TBD as the year rolls on.
Does Mayock get another job? Does he get another GM job?
You think he's back with Rich Eisen at the Combine?
Ooh.
Could be.
I don't know if what's his name's going to be happy about that.
Who? Move the Sticks?
Friend of the show, Move the Sticks.
Daniel Jeremiah? He said.
What, he take Mayock's gig?
Yeah. He said he learned from Mayock, though.
There's room for everybody, right?
Yeah. There's enough to go around. The Combine's 75 days long. Everybody's running 40s. There's enough room to go around. Mayock, once you get a taste of the NFL, I wonder. Because everybody that's in TV, it appears they're all lobbying for a job in the NFL. And not everybody, obviously, broad paintbrush there, but there's some people that speak on TV. It's like, oh, that person's trying to get a general manager job. They're smarter than everybody. Oh, that person wants to be a coach or offense coordinator. They're smarter than everybody. And then you hear their name popped up for some roles and some jobs. It's like, oh, they're utilizing the television job to get into the NFL. I often wonder once you get back in the NFL if they're not like, man, wish I was still doing that TV thing, or if these people are just addicted to the game, and I wonder like if Mayock got a taste to get back into the game and he wants to stick with it, or does he maybe want to take a little tractor another round on the television biz? That'll be interesting to watch as well. Mayock, great on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Had success in Las Vegas there when nobody thought it was going to be able to happen. I have no idea.
Does the next GM, do you think they say, do you think Derek Carr will be the guy for the next GM, or do you think, because Derek Carr's an above average quarterback.
What's his contract look like?
It's no more guaranteed money, I don't think. I think that's why it was a big-time conversation going into the year. Like, is Derek Carr your future or not? Why won't they just pay this guy full-time if he is your future? He seems to have great plays, but it's like year 8 now at this point, year 9. He's been around. He's already gotten the second bag. He was in MVP conversation years and years ago, then he got hurt. He still wins games that make no sense. In that intro, whenever he was in, that was one of the most electrifying videos I have seen. I think that is a guy you would like to have around your program, for sure.
Well, and he said that he is sticking around depending on who the coach is. So are they going to hire the coach and then the GM? Or are they going to hire the GM and then the coach? Because if they hire the GM, whoever that is probably going to want to get their guys in. Like Houston right now, Mayo is the favorite, but that's strictly because of the fact that Caserio and Mayo work together in New England. So there's always connections.
And Mayock worked for Gruden.
Yeah.
Right? Gruden was hired first, and then Mayock worked for Gruden. That's why Mayock got zero credit for it. This is almost like a Matt LaFleur situation where LaFleur gets zero credit for anything because he's got Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, without Aaron Rodgers, is LaFleur as good? Mike Mayock wasn't the final decision maker, allegedly, in Las Vegas. It was Gruden, so he can't even get complimented for the roster that was able to make it to the playoffs after all hell broke loose. What an interesting dynamic for Mike Mayock to be in. What were you going to say, Nick?
To further that point, there was a tweet going around from Pete Prisco. I think he's at CBS. He said that he had heard that Mayock didn't want to take Cleveland Farrell at 4 overall. He got talked into it by Gruden. He wanted Devin White, allegedly.
So that's the Mayock team coming out saying, hey, there's some shit that Mike wanted to do that he was not allowed to do because he wasn't the guy in charge. John Gruden was the guy in charge. Shout out to Pete Prisco, by the way, breaking this news, and obviously being in with the Mayock family. Mm-hmm. So let's keep an eye on Pete Prisco to see what the Mayock team is thinking about. But all those stories you're going to start hearing leak, and this is just like when the Trubisky stories were coming out about Nagy in the Chicago media world.
Sorry, Mitch.
Because Trubisky's potentially going to be a free agent. Nagy's not there anymore. And now, allegedly, they were fighting against each other, and Trubisky was saying this offense is terrible. Please don't judge me for how my last season in Chicago was. That was obviously, we now know, a different guy's fault. We got to worry about where the narratives are coming, what's real and what isn't in this particular stage of the football season.
I mean, you hit it dead on. But some of these teams, though, when you have a head coach and GM job open, they're almost doing it together. Like they're hiring the head coach and GM as one. Like I think they like to have them talk and see how they would communicate and if they would vibe well. I don't know. It's tough putting them both. I don't know what you kind of have. There has to be like a clear line of who's in charge too. Like if you get the GM, all right, GM gets in place, then you hire the head coach, and the head coach knows, hey, you kind of report to this GM. Absolutely.
Remember Lynch said before the draft, he said in the job description, it's my final call. Lynch said that in a press conference alongside Kyle Shanahan. He said, but who would I be if I didn't take the information from Kyle Shanahan, who's a play caller and one of the greatest offensive minds in our league's history? I'd be an absolute idiot. But he said in the contract, it says it is my decision. Now, I think him saying that is a big deal. When he said it, I thought it was a big deal. Now looking back on it, I think it's a big deal because that's how it actually is across all programs in the NFL. Somebody is designated to make the final call. Is it the head coach? Is it the GM? And ultimately, who gets blamed whenever shit goes wrong should be in that same vein, but that is not the case because usually those lines are blurred all of a sudden publicly.
A lot of times we don't know. A lot of us don't really know how the final decisions come down, who eventually signed off on it. Yeah, I don't. I'm really curious who gets hired as the GM. And man, if they bring Jim Harbaugh in, that'll be hilarious.
Well, that's what, given what just happened and what we know about Harbaugh, like he left San Francisco because him and Balky didn't get along. He's at Michigan where he gets to make all the decisions.
Balky.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
But if you get him and then you hire a GM, like, aren't you kind of just doing what you just did, where you hire, a head coach who's basically making all the decisions, and your GM's just a lame duck, and then you're basically in the same situation you were just in.
And also, we don't know shit about fucking any of this because this all might be a leverage play for Harbaugh with Michigan. And they said that he is in the middle of conversations with Michigan to get a more favorable deal, but they don't know if he wants to go to the NFL or not. Allegedly, that was a report already. Great business by Jim. Great business. I don't want to knock anything about that, but is it real or is it not? He's having sleepovers with 17-year-olds in college. I'd assume he's looking to maybe get back to the NFL.
Tell him not to eat chicken too, by the way.
Well, yeah, and he's also
nervous bird.
He can also Yardbird, dude. It's a nervous bird. But he can also hang his hat on the fact that I got Michigan to the college football playoff.
Yeah. Right.
So like you could see how he would be like, all right, mission accomplished. We didn't win the national championship, but I mean, the South is going to be tough to compete with no matter what. So you would see how he could potentially okay himself to move on from college, but that would be the whole hiring process, just like in Chicago. They say we're hiring the GM first, then we're going to hire the coach. And then it's Brian Flores is getting interviewed today. It's like, okay, so what are we doing? I don't think anybody knows what the fuck's going to go on. They just hope that they strike gold in a relationship in which two people will get along who have to be two alphas. They have to be very confident people with big egos. They have their own. You should be able to set your ego aside for the team. But to be in one of those positions, you got to have a ridiculous amount of confidence. You have to be able to be very firm in your decision making. And if you're not on the same page as somebody, that's probably a likelihood. I don't know how they figure out how the fingers don't get pointed and how they figure out whether or not people like each other in a 30-minute or a 2-hour interview when they're both trying to get the fucking job. The hiring processes in the NFL at the highest level, I don't know how anybody gets it right. I don't know how I would go about doing it. But it just seems like a nightmare from a human logistics standpoint. What do you have, Zeke?
I don't know if you guys ever been a part of it, but has players ever been involved in the GM/coach search?
So Aaron wasn't a part of the head coach search for the Packers, right?
Right. Nope.
So, and then that was when that rumor started that Murphy told him, hey, don't be the fucking problem here. And Aaron came on this show and said that was not true at all. But he did have no say in who LaFleur was or who was hired. Mm-hmm. So I don't think.
Would it make sense, though?
I don't think AJ's it. No, because.
Like a veteran player on your team, like
if it's like your quarterback.
How involved are you talking? Like Aaron didn't want to sit in on all the interviews or anything. Yeah. I think he just wanted to be aware of what they were doing and what they were thinking.
Like if they have finalists, like all right, let me ask them some questions that might be better for me as an offense or something like that.
So
that could happen.
I would maybe depending upon the relationship with the player too and the owner, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be the owner. It would be something like I could see like Jim Irsay want to bring in his quarterback to talk to a potential new head coach or GM.
I don't know about that.
No.
I'm not saying right now, but like, don't you think he would have Andrew if he was making a change? Have Andrew want to talk to a GM or head coach?
Well, at the particular time when we hired Chuck, Andrew wasn't in the league yet, right? So I don't know if Andrew was asked about Chris Ballard or if that was even something. I'd assume not.
GM like quarterbacks like. I don't see many places talking to a quarterback or having input from a player about a GM search.
What if it was Mahomes because he has such a long contract? Let's say Andy Reid said, I'm done.
He retired. Andy Reid retires.
Right. Would that change things?
If I was the GM there, I would want to get Patrick's I mean, he wouldn't have final say or anything, but I would be like, hey, here's 3 or 4 guys we like. You mind talking to them for a little bit and just tell me what you think of each?
And I think that was the thing that, and we go back to Aaron because we're talking to him in about 40 minutes, and he's a massive part of these entire conversations. But Aaron, I think, has been very open in saying, I don't think I should be the determining decision. Like, I don't think my vote should weigh more than anybody else's, but I think that I should at least be heard in some particular conversations because I've been here for 17 years and I'm like the face of this goddamn program. I think there should be at least a little, hey, that particular guy wouldn't fit here because of blah, 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 in my particular opinion. I don't think like players expect to be the final answer, but I do think at the head, of the team, if you got OGs around who are synonymous with the team, you've committed a lot of the future to these players, it would only make sense to at least say, hey, out of these dudes, is there anybody you guys hate or wouldn't like? But who knows if that is even another voice that the owners or the hiring people even want to get into the process. That's a whole nother conversation in there, because if the players don't like it and then the ownership doesn't listen to the players and the ownership asks for the opinion, but then hired against it, you almost piss off the players immediately. So it's almost like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. That's probably why it doesn't happen.
Well, and that's kind of what Derek Carr's kind of asking for, right? But in the case of Chicago, would they bring B-Flow in? Because they've also interviewed Elliot Wolf, who's another Patriots guy who has that relationship with B-Flow already. And wouldn't they ask a Khalil Mack, hey, what have you heard about, playing for Brian Flores or anything even along those lines? Not even
is that the ownership asking, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, whoever's conducting the interviews. Because even, the Texans did what? They hired the, Tony Dungy and the consulting group. Is that
That's my biggest issue.
Corn Ferry?
My biggest issue is when teams hire outside consulting firms to make the decision of who their general manager or their head coach is going to be. Because that particular consulting firm might be working for another team. How do we even...
But do they make the decision, or do they just put everything together and present it to the owner or whoever's making the decision?
Yeah, and is it just another piece of information that you take in creating the entire...
Yeah, here's a $750,000 piece of information. I'm going to take a look at this binder of what they put together. They were here for 3.5 days.
This guy seems to be a good coach.
It's a great gig.
If you are hiring them...
We could do that. You could definitely. You're college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor. You're AJ fucking Hawk. You could probably get in one of those consulting fees or start your own for sure.
If you're hiring them or paying money, though, then they're definitely informing how you make the decision, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're just giving you hey, this is unbiased information, do with it as you please. If you're paying them, you trust their opinion enough to know that hey, they're going to inform the decision that we do make.
Well, this is just like the stats people. Anytime somebody else makes a decision or stats make a decision, you can just blame. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of I knew it was I didn't like it, but they said it was good. The numbers said, this said, they said. It's very easy to pawn blame whenever you're not making the decision, and it feels like that is a world that we live in currently where not everybody, but some people enjoy, the reason why we fucked up massively is because insert name is something else that isn't me, and that could also be a part of the process as an owner. You don't want to be the one that's directly tied to the success of the hiring because your fan base is going to be here before the manager gets here and the coach gets here, and they're going to be there hopefully afterwards. So you can at least pawn blame off on other people. Hey, we're going to bring in Bill Polian. We're going to bring in some other people to help us out. So if we get it wrong, it's not just us. It's all these people came in there and almost gives you buys you some time and some cred with your fan base. So I don't know.
Well, and keep in mind that consulting group hired David Culley, and he lasted 1 year. And they, as soon as he walked in the door, they were like, "Hey, by the way, you're a placeholder for Josh McCown." So that, in its own, doesn't make any sense.
Has Josh McCown gotten an interview yet?
I don't think so.
I think he just had.
Was he on the staff?
A quarterback coach, wasn't he?
Was he?
No idea.
He has great hair.
Oh. To your point about being able to blame people, isn't that what Mayock's doing? Hey, yeah, I wanted Devin White, who's a Super Bowl
Mayock's not doing that.
Now.
No, Team Mayock.
Team Mayock.
Team Mayock
Team
is doing
3,
it. Yeah.
Russell Wilson situation.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, these 4 teams that my team put out, I would go to if the opportunity was to be there, but that's not
I'm not
from
saying
me.
it.
I want to be a Seahawk forever, but also I would like to explore my options this offseason.
Go Hawks. Hey, you watched Russ on Manningcast last night. I didn't get to see it. What was your biggest takeaway, AJ?
Well, the first thing I thought of was I told my wife we were watching, I was like, I appreciate Russ having great audio. He came on, his audio was legit. He had a good wireless earbuds on, and his audio sounded great. So that was the main thing I noticed.
What about what he said clearly? Anything?
He's very good. Russ will, every network will sprint to Russ to throw millions of dollars at him to try to hire him when he is done playing, because you could tell, like, this dude, yeah, he will have a long career in the media. Like, he's very polished, high energy, and smart.
Well, they throw a lot of money at quarterbacks that are terrible in the NFL. I couldn't even imagine if it was Russell Wilson, who can also break down film in a seems like a human fashion. Like, I think that is a big deal. Russell Wilson has the ability to kind of break down a human fashion. He's well-spoken, high energy, go Hawks, with Pete Carroll. Has won a Super Bowl before, has won an MVP before, has been a Walter Payton Man of the Year. And he's got a 15-person team that makes a lot of decisions and has a lot of ideas, and he's got to listen to all of Team 3.
Do you think that's why it's like the Giants are in play to make a move? Because even when people talk about that Super Bowl, it's usually about the Legion of Boom and not so much Russell Wilson. Whereas if he goes to a place like the Giants, massive market, terrible team, recently at least.
They got nobody yet on the books, right?
They got nobody.
Coach.
Yeah, they got nobody. And they have 2 top 10 picks. And they have a quarterback who's young enough where you could probably be able to move him.
So you got 2 top 10 picks and a quarterback back to Seattle. Pete, you don't have to rebuild. You're getting 2 picks and Daniel Jones. You still have your squad. We get Russell Wilson in New York. Who cares about anything else? We got Russell Wilson in New York.
And if you don't like Daniel Jones, you have those 2 top 10 picks where you can take Kenny Pickett or Corral, maybe even trade back and get 2 more picks in the first round. Because Philly, unfortunately for Philly, they ended up with like 15, 17, 18, whereas earlier in the year it looked like they were going to have a few top 10s.
Oh, they got the one because
they got the one from Carl, they got the one from Miami, and then they have their own.
Andy Reid said he wants another Super Bowl like he wants another piece of chocolate cake. They said, hey, are the boys as hungry this year to go get another Super Bowl after already having success? And Andy Reid said, if you have a piece of chocolate cake and you see another dangling right in front of you, you're going to want it. That's how you feel about the Super Bowl. It's the ultimate piece of chocolate cake.
Hell yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I've never heard a better metaphor, and the fact that it came out of Andy Reid's mouth makes it even more glorious. But that is an interesting thing where people start questioning the hunger and the drive after you've already had success. And some people get, fat pocket syndrome where they get paid, they get lazy, they feel like they've already accomplished everything, and they kind of fall off. I don't think the Chiefs have shown that at all in their makeup or their DNA. And the fact that they're playing the best football that they've played in some years right now, is a dangerous, dangerous thing. They know that their dynasty is supposed to be real. They know that they're supposed to go on a run. They know that winning one early and getting to another one is not something that a lot of teams other than New England Patriots for 20 years were able to do. They want to go and get it. And I like the fact that the Chiefs seem to be playing their best ball. And if Jackson Mahomes' curse is no longer a thing, good for the Chiefs fans and good for Andy Reid ending his career on super high notes here.
Andy Reid, I absolutely agree with him on what he's saying about it just makes you want another one. I think the Chiefs team, you feel that way. They know, like, hey, if we don't find a way to win multiple rings, this thing, like, it's a failure for what we have, the roster we have, the quarterback we have. And I think Pat Mahomes leads the charge. Like, he wins the Super Bowl, such a superstar early in his career. So for him and me, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, because everything else sucks. Like, nothing else matters. All that matters is winning Super Bowls. We're not trying to get to the playoffs. We don't care about the 1 seed. Like, we just want to win the Super Bowl, and everything else is garbage to us. Like, that's where their standards are.
And he got offered $500 million, and he hasn't even gotten a chance to enjoy it yet. I don't even think he knows that he has $500 million in the next 10 years. It's like, well, I still got to earn that. I got to create my legacy and keep this thing moving. Life has not changed much for Patrick Mahomes, even though the bank account has. And Travis Kelce is playing his best football. First player in the history of the NFL to throw for a touchdown, catch a touchdown, and to have 100 receiving yards. I mean, they got all their big dogs back playing great football, and Travis Kelce's just fucking around out there. How about that touchdown pass where he's literally juking? It's backyard football with like 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi. Oh, shit. And he just throws that thing. Perfect ball.
As he runs off the field, too. It was awesome.
Yeah, they got big guys catching touchdowns. That team is the team that we've talked about every single week whenever we're trying to figure out whether or not we're betting on it. Will this team show up? Will this team show up? They have in moments. They've won games. Patrick Mahomes has been top 5 quarterback. Travis Kelce's been top 5 tight end. Tyreek Hill's been top 5 wide receiver. Their defense has only gotten better and better throughout the year going on. But that team showing up is something that everybody's scared of. We've always talked about it, and it feels like they did that against the Steelers, although they only won by 21, and there was bigger defeats this past weekend in wild card. What's that?
A lot of them, okay?
A lot of people scored a lot less points than the Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers scored of the losing teams the most out of anybody in Wild Card Weekend. So, as always,
Congrats.
7 goes out as a future Hall of Fame champion.
Hey, way to go.
Thank you, Seven.
Way to go, 7. But then you look at who they're playing, the Bills. It's like, whoa. Now, this is a different Bills team. This feels like a mature Bills team. This feels like a Josh Allen that's ready for the moment. He had one game in which they didn't beat the Patriots at home in a 30-mile-an-hour wind gust and had a bunch of incompletions. And everybody's like, nah, not going to be cut out for the long haul. Not going to be able to do it. They should build them a dome. When in reality, that motherfucker's the prototype if he continues to play the way he's been playing. And I don't think he's slowing down at all after getting the big-ass bag. And Stephon Diggs seems to be the perfect fit for him, the way they play. That defense has a chip on her shoulder. That game on Sunday night is going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait for this thing.
Yeah, and they have the same mindset AJ was just saying about, Kansas City not caring if they're the 1 seed, just wanting to win a Super Bowl. I mean, Buffalo doesn't have any Pro Bowlers on defense. All they really give a shit about is winning. Doesn't really matter where they're at. But do you think that it changes anything? The fact that they already beat the shit out of Kansas City earlier in the year was like 38-20. Absolutely killed them.
I wish we could have Poyer on again, just see how he feels, catch the vibe of Buffalo. Only 8 teams left. Think about that. I mean, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
24 teams currently sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
All losers. The Colts being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same with the Patriots.
Patriots being one of them. Only 8 teams left. This is a different ball game now. This is the upper echelon. Which teams will show up and make the late? Like Matthew Stafford winning that game last night was huge for the narrative about Matthew Stafford, right? We all know it. He knows it. The entire, conversation about Matthew Stafford will forever be changed now that he's won a playoff game. Now he's going to have to win a Super Bowl. There's another thing he won a playoff game. Way to go. Way to go. He played against an Arizona Cardinals team that didn't have their best weapon on offense. They didn't even look alive. And FaZe Clan showed up late to the game. But you're going to have to do that. He's going to have to win a Super Bowl. But it feels like, there's a lot of legacies that could be changed these next couple weeks. Josh Allen's one of them. Matthew Stafford's another one. Tom Brady, what does he like most? The next Super Bowl ring, he says. There's just so much to figure out, and I'm very thankful that we get to cover this sport in this league right now.
Oh, yeah, and just looking around the slate, too, like if the Titans do just walk all over the Bengals, and then they're playing whoever, wins Kansas City versus Buffalo, and they beat up on each other pretty bad, like the Titans might struggle.
Titans have beat both of those teams.
Exactly. So, they might be the freshest team in the Super Bowl.
Man, there's a lot to figure out. I hope the refs don't fuck it up, AJ.
Good luck with that.
Let's get to a break, and then we'll answer some phone calls on the other side. Then Aaron Rodgers joins us in about 25 minutes at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. I think he only has like 15, 20 minutes in between meetings. I'm not sure the book club is going to get another book added, so we still have another week to catch up.
Okay, good.
This is a good one, too.
Yeah, absolutely. The subtle art of not giving a fuck.
That's
dude.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Manson.
Oh, book.
I saw him tweeting about it.
Uh-huh.
You read this, AJ?
I have not read that.
It's quick.
What's your deal?
Why not?
It was the homework, dude.
I probably will. I'm a big audiobook guy. I'll probably download it.
So, what Mark Manson always says is, choose your struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I ask you it, this is from the book of Mark, page 36.
What line?
5, 7, 8. If I ask you, what do you want out of life? And you say something like, I want to be happy and have a great family and a job I like. Your response is so common and expected that it doesn't really mean anything. You're fucking basic and boring.
That's right.
From the book of Mark.
Good to know.
Thank you, Mark.
So what you got to be more specific? Like, I would like to run an operation where people didn't cut their pubes in the bathroom and jam them into the floor.
Bingo. That's what Mark's saying.
Is that what he wants?
I think so, yeah. And then you go more from the book of Mark here. When most people envision giving no fucks whatsoever, they imagine a kind of serene indifference to everything, a calm that weathers all storms. They imagine and aspire to be a person who is shaken by nothing and caves into no one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name for a person who finds no emotion or meaning in anything. That's a psychopath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would you want to emulate a psychopath? I have no clue. So what does not giving a fuck mean? Let's look at 3 subtleties that should help clarify the manner. That is from the book of Mark, page 4.
Hell yeah.
The subtleties are
Kinda like
good.
that.
Good reading. Good reading.
It is good reading. It's great reading. Thank you so much. If you need me at a wedding to read something along those lines, I'll come from the book of Mark. I'll come from the book of Mark all day. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls on a 5 Energy phone line, 1-833-4-MAC. Can't wait to chat with you. See you then. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who play for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the ball, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command line. Yeah, about to see me on demand, like, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Aaron will be joining us in about 21 minutes. He's currently at work. He's got that hard hat on. It's playoff football, AJ.
Yep, got the hard hat on, right?
Today's show is presented by Arby's, and Arby's has a brand new special that we are excited to chat about. And by we, I mean somebody that has the ability to talk about it, and that's the one, the only. Take it away, Mitt.
Today's show is presented by Arby's.
Nailed
Arby's
it.
just launched the spiciest QSR sandwich on the market. The new Diablo sandwich available in 13-hour smoked brisket or crispy chicken. Diablo brings the heat with Diablo barbecue sauce, fiery seasoning, a red hot bun packed with chipotle pepper flakes for an extra kick of flavor, ghost pepper, jalapeno cheese, fire roasted jalapeno.
Wow!
Use hashtag Arby's Diablo Dare on TikTok to show them how long you can last eating it before reaching for a free vanilla shake that comes with it.
Oh, nice for the palate. The free vanilla shake that comes with what's it called, Mitt?
The
hashtag
the new Diablo sandwich.
And what's the hashtag?
Hashtag Arby's Diablo Dare.
And we'll see you doing that later today, right?
Tomorrow, I think, actually.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Mitt. Thank you, Mitt. No, I don't have a TikTok, so we had to find somebody in our office that does. Mitt does. He will be doing it. Shout out to Mitt. Also, shout out to the people on TikTok that just rip clips of our show and act like it's their own. You know, do your thing. Yeah. Do whatever you got to do out there. I'll get messages.
They don't have to ask.
It's a lawless land.
As long as you don't make us look like shit, I don't care. I mean, there's some people that rip our clips in and put them up on their YouTube and make us look like assholes. And then we're like, all right, well, you can't do that, obviously. Go ahead and have a good day. But then the people that don't, it's like, you got to do what you got to do. So he'll be eating a Diablo sandwich.
Is this the one? Is the Diablo the one? I've been watching the commercials during games. Is it when they're dipping in something in their commercial?
I'm not sure. And that might be the au jus. Yeah, that's the au jus.
It's a big old, like, meat sub, basically. They're dipping in this sauce. Arby's has a lot of commercials on that.
That's a French dip, my friend.
Where are you?
Uncultured swine.
Oh, my bad, guys. Just trying to get some more pub for Arby's, you idiots. My bad.
Hey, oui. Don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it. It's French dip, dude. Come on.
God, I don't know if Arby's wants anyone who doesn't know what a French dip is.
Well, I mean, who knows who's eating at Arby's, who isn't. We love Arby's. I'm excited for that Diablo sandwich.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I like spicy stuff. Oh, the Diablo Dare.
That brisket looks good.
Yeah, but the fried chicken's probably going to be where the heat is, right?
Num.
The chicken's probably going to be where the heat. I'm pretty good with hot shit, AJ. I'm not scared to dabble. I'll get in there. I'm not going to do this because I'm currently on a diet, super fit, but
might clean you out though.
I took some. My wife has these probiotics at the house.
Oh, yeah.
Tastes like yogurt or whatever. I guess those are supposed to make you dump.
Good for stomach health.
Good for the insides.
Very good. I've been drinking these green machine things too. They have a bunch of vitamins in them, I guess. Wow. I'm like super fit now, dude. I'm looking to live.
You have a sauna at your house?
Oh, have a sauna. The house I moved into has a sauna. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. I would have never put one in my own house, but I fucking.
Do you work out in there or something, or what do you do?
No, I sit in there though for like 20 minutes. Hot sauna. It's not an infrared sauna. It's just a basic dry ass sauna. Set that thing at 190. I think it's the Swedes.
Oh yeah,
Swedes. It's the Swedes. Is it?
Yeah, a guy we know from high school was a roommate with a Swede in college, and he told stories how they went over there in the off season and were drinking in saunas the entire time.
They love the sauna game. And it's like super healthy for. It makes me feel better. I had
big right now. It's huge right now. It's like a whole movement. Like
they
cold
call it
plunge
Bastu.
and sauna's huge.
So whoever made the sauna in my house, their craftsmanship is a little shoddy.
Oh, no.
Okay. Every time I get in there, I got to like hold some cracks because you can't get any of the air. It feels like it is Arctic air getting in there at any time. So I'm gonna have to get to work on putting some of it together. But I've enjoyed the entire little fitness process here. I'm trying not to be a full fat ass anymore. It's not gonna happen. I'll get back into the bad ways, but I'm feeling good at the moment. I feel like I can move a little bit. This offseason, I want to do some cool shit with people, so I got to be able to move, I got to be able to move.
You just want to feel good, don't you? That's all that matters.
I'd like to be able to feel good, but I also like to be able to, like if I get below 225, I think I'll be able to dunk again. But that's like 20. That's like 22 pounds away right now. That's a long way away. I haven't been under 225 in a long time. But I would like to be able to do some cool shit just strictly for content and for life purposes because I see all these other people out here acting as if they're freak athletes. It's like, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that.
Who are you talking about?
Just the internet in general. I could do that. I could do that. And then I try to stand up and I blow up my hamstring. I'm like, old Pat might have been able to do that, pal. So it's almost like, I'm trying to get back into it for myself. But
like
also,
Dude Perfect. You want to be like the Dude Perfect guys? Like that kind of stuff?
I don't think that takes much athleticism, right? That takes just a lot of effort and an ability to do a skill.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Trying stuff a bunch.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate what Dude Perfect has been able to build.
Yeah.
Let's not
Great trick shot.
Let's not get it twisted. They have been very.
They tour the country, which is they tour. I know my son's buddies went and saw him at the arena downtown a couple months ago.
Dan Orlovsky took all his kids. His kids love Dude Perfect, I guess. So there's I have nothing but respect for the platform and the network that they have built. I don't think that's necessarily athletic. I might be wrong. They might be pissed off that I say that. The ability to accomplish impossible feats, though, I guess it does lie within the athletic vein. But I'm just talking about, going to a pickup game, playing against somebody, not dying halfway, getting down the court, like those types of things I'd like to be able to do. And seeing my old man walk up and down these steps out in Arizona at the age he's at, that was pretty inspiring to me. It's like, okay, if I become a fat ass who's broken, it's not because of the old genetics, because Tim is a fucking robot stallion right now. So it's a lot of things, it's a lot of things, AJ.
Good. Yeah, no, I think everybody just do whatever it takes to feel good. You want to feel as good as you possibly can, right?
Exactly. I was going to do keto. You guys remember that? Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
I
did that.
I denounced the death of keto this morning. I'm not getting back into it. I'm not doing it. I tried it yesterday. Sweet tooth last night got a little bit heavy. Had to have some Raisin Bran.
I thought you were just tweaking it.
I had to have some Raisin Bran. What's up, dude?
You're tweaking it a little bit. You're still.
Yeah. Well, that'd be low carb then. It's not really ketosis and it's not really a real thing. I'm just going to continue to fast and hopefully work out so I don't become a fat ass. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, the fasting gets it done, I feel like.
Maybe live forever, too.
Just monitoring your carb intake. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still eat what you want, pretty much.
Yeah, and I can still have a cheat day, right, Gump? I can still have a cheat day out there, can't I?
Every Sunday, just like The Rock, dude.
Why?
Why?
Chocolate chip cookies and sushi?
Why? Peanut butter pancakes.
Why? I might send him a DM on Twitter. Hey, what are we fucking eating this Sunday? You and me. You know what I mean? What if I get casted in one of his movies?
That'd be sweet.
That'd be sweet.
The next Red Notice.
Do they need a white? No, they got a white.
They got Ryan Reynolds, but they could probably use another one.
Probably could.
Next Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, that's because it's the superior franchise.
Sean McAfee.
Which is?
Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, you're an anti-Vin Diesel guy?
Yeah.
No.
Not anti-Vin.
Pro
Rock. Pro Rock.
Huh?
Pro Rock.
I'm pro Rock guy too.
Yeah.
Big pro Rock show.
Yeah. Big pro Rock show.
We
love Young Rock, don't we, AJ?
I love it. And The Rock, how old is that dude? He looks great on Manning Cast last night. Man, whatever he's doing, keep it up.
Do you see whenever he'll wear these baggy ass fucking pants? Everybody's wearing tight stuff, but he'll put these suits on that are baggy, and I feel like it's because his quads are literally just bouncing through. He is. He's got to work out 2-3 hours a day. He's got to hit every single muscle in his body every single day. It's unbelievable.
It's a paradise.
It is. It's the iron. It's the iron paradise, isn't it?
Hasn't he gotten to the point where they? Oh yeah, I saw that where they build his weight room on set wherever he's filming.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, don't be asking for The Rock if you're going to make me get dwindled while I'm doing the work.
That's right.
Clanging and banging 4 a.m. every day.
He lets everyone on set use his gym too.
So how does he have 27 hours in a day? I honestly wonder this. And for that Bloomberg article, they asked me what my daily schedule was, and I thought 4 a.m. I thought about telling them. 4 a.m. I wake up, I work out, read the Bible, play golf. 6 a.m. I take, in the dog.
You should have.
I thought about doing it, but I didn't. I was like, I don't know. Wake up like 7, dude. Work out, do some stuff, go to work, come home, put that on repeat.
Sounds like you're living the dream, man.
I'm excited to hear what that guy thought.
You figured it out.
I'm excited to hear what Bloomberg guy
When's
thought.
that come out?
Nah.
Hopefully soon. Super Bowl week, man.
You don't feel the need, though, Pat. You don't feel the need to act, even though that's all you do is seem to work to act like busier than you are, because people love to show people how busy they may be. Obviously not productive, just busy.
It's the first time I've ever got an opportunity to answer that question, and it was very difficult not to do about 3 a.m. first alarm, depending upon if I snooze or not, and then got to get a quick 9 holes in the simulator because the game's got to stay tight. A lot of business meetings on the golf course. Don't want to be embarrassing yourself. Then I read, a quarter of the Bible every morning, and then I move on.
Might take a while.
Let's go to the Well, that's why I got to wake up so early.
That's right.
Everybody else does it. You know what I mean?
Stay sharp.
I would love to know that Bloomberg guy's head has to just be spinning, with the conversations that he's had with me and with everybody around me. I'm very excited to see that guy's take on my life. Very, very excited. First person I've never met before. I don't think he's a fan of the show. I don't think he's watched the show. He just knows that I'm a thing.
He's had to. If he's writing like an in-depth piece on you, he's had to at least watch something.
Yeah, but what part of the show did he watch?
Probably caught the pube talk.
Yeah, the pube talk, or did he catch us singing, or did he? It's very, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Let's get to the phones here. Let's go to Big Herm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Boomer, Big Herm, what's going on?
What's good with you, Pat and the boys?
Hey, Rock was not that great on Manningcast last night.
What do you mean?
I love him. I got a Terramana cutout from the liquor store in my room right now. Love
What was
Rock,
wrong?
but-
What did he do wrong?
Man, did you watch it, AJ?
Yeah, I watched it.
Man, it seemed like the audio was off a little bit, but every time he was trying to talk, they had to go to a break, about 5, 6, 7 breaks. I mean, it was really bad. I mean,
That's not his
You're
fault.
one of the best guys that's ever been on Manningcast. That's just a fact.
Well, Big Herm, I appreciate that. Big Herm, Big Herm. I appreciate you doing that, Frey, and saying that. And I think we are all judging The Rock's appearance off knowing that he had basically no shot. You know, the entire rollout was tough. The commercials were tough. The audio, obviously, for the Manningcast has been something that they've had to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge their way through all season. So we're just setting the expectation level. We thought The Rock did incredible, and I assume he was pretty pumped with the experience as well, Big Herm. But I love that you come on here and go, let's not
pump
the brakes a bit.
If you watch it back, Pat, you'll understand. But you did great on the show. Hey, I wanted to see if I could make some type of bet with you and come up and see the Igloo with you and the boys.
Sure.
If, the Chiefs win. What do we got to do to try to get up there? I've only been trying to call for 14 months to get on your show.
Well, Big Herm, great to have you here. AJ's lying right now. Whenever we open the Igloo, I believe there is going to be days. I don't know how many, but thank you for the call, Big Herm. By the way, appreciate you. We're going to have live audience in the Igloo, I think, like once a month, maybe.
That's what I was telling him.
Whoa. Yeah, I think we're going to have live audience. That's not what you were doing. You were telling him to drive up, show up, say hello.
Whenever.
When you have the first public show.
Yeah, come on in. Well, I think we'll probably have to release those tickets on the internet.
Yeah.
So we don't have so many people showing up. But yeah, we're going to be able to have, with the space, we could probably have like 500 people in there. It'll probably be just 50, if I had to guess. Probably just 50 people in there. Make it a real feel-good Friday.
Yeah. Intimate, yeah.
A real feel-good Friday, you know.
But then how do we know Connor's going to have to install his cameras. What if people are trimming their pubes?
Well, that's the enemy's within the camp.
We should have cameras in the bathrooms. It's only fair.
Been pitching this for weeks.
It's only fair.
Let's go to the
and invite the public, people you don't know in.
All right, that's
on us.
It's not a waiver.
Is there gonna be sermons?
That's illegal.
The way we're building it too, we're building it as if it will be able to be a venue, like shutting off other stuff as well, and it being able to be a venue. I'm very excited for what we're going to be able to do up there.
I want to see it.
Fans being in the building is definitely one thing that we thought about in the design and in the purchase of the place that I didn't just see the sign of and say, oh, we should buy that.
Since it's past life, it was a church. Are we going to have someone come in maybe on the week or whenever for the fans and do sermons? Maybe like Tim Tebow come in and do sermons on certain days?
We will have speakers come in. We'll certainly have speakers come in. I think not Tim Tebow for the people. Tim Tebow probably to all you.
Wow.
To you guys. And to you, AJ. We'll make sure it's one of the days where you hop in one of those Wright brother tiny planes and fly over to the Igloo. But yeah, I am going to be hopefully having a lot of speakers come through to make us a much better operation.
Okay.
Because
like
you all
TED
need
Talks?
Jesus. What's that?
Like TED Talks in the Igloo?
Yeah, exactly.
Gary V.
Maybe. I don't know what his rate is.
That costs a lot.
Yeah.
I want Lombo to come in and give his TED Talk, though, to the entire boys about leadership. I'm excited for that. I plan on streaming a lot of shit from this Igloo. The way we're building it is, like 4 shows basically to happen.
Maybe a full dinosaur in there.
Zito wants us to buy a dinosaur now that he saw Stan behind a rock yesterday.
Just get a good-looking fake one.
Just the head.
Well, it's $100,000 for a good mock-up of one.
$120 for the full body. The Rock has a $11,000 one right behind him.
That's not an $11,000. That's like a
$34.1
million.
Yeah, what do they do with the rest of the body?
He probably has it in the basement, just like John Wayne Gacy.
You wouldn't
from
just break the
Waldo
head
Island.
off the most completed T-Rex if it was real.
But you wouldn't be able to have the entire body in his office. So he's like, hey, how do I prove that I have a T-Rex? Boom,
The
give it a
thing's
fucking
40
head.
feet tall, isn't it?
40 feet, 70, what is it, 40 by 70 or something, the full body?
I believe it was 12 feet tall, 40 wide.
That ain't no fucking T-Rex then. If it's
Are
only
we
12 feet
sure
tall.
that that's not just the head peeking through the window and the rest of the body is outside of the house?
Oh, like one of those cars in the side of buildings.
That'd be awesome.
That could be it.
The Rock probably did do that. Now I think about it. And a couple Terramanas. Said, give me a
What?
T-Rex in a window. What?
Why?
It would be cool in the Igloo to have a pterodactyl maybe flying up over top, drop it down from up top. So if the excavators could go find a full pterodactyl, we'd be very appreciative of it. And also lower the price a little
What
bit.
about woolly mammoth?
Because it's going to be Igloo.
Oh, yeah.
I never
Saber-tooth
thought about
tiger.
getting a dinosaur until I saw that The Rock has a real one. And then I thought to myself, that's hilarious. Drinking your own tequila.
What?
with an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex body next to you, that's life, right? Like that is winning in life there.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats to Rock. This dude was doing rock bottoms.
Do it.
So it is 12 foot, but it's because he's leaning over. That's why. So if he's toe to whatever, it's 40 feet if he's standing on his toes.
Toe to ear?
Yeah.
Toes to ear, 40 feet for the T-Rex. Let's go to Brian in Seattle. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, Pat, AJ boys, how you doing?
Keep it moving.
Hey, I just want to thank you guys for making the first 3 to 4 hours of my day go by really fast.
We're lucky to do it, Brian. Thank you for listening, man. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, I got a question about sportsbooks.
Okay.
So I used to work at McAfee Casino, and they were in talks with DraftKings about online sports betting. I was wondering if that means like we can possibly get FanDuel in Washington, or is it just one sportsbook?
Great question, Brian. Every state is individual. Situations are situational. Regulators in the state can decide how many books and who gets in. Hopefully, FanDuel will be in Washington. Hopefully, FanDuel will be in Florida. Need everybody's help down there. We'll be back manana with a great. It's over.
Didn't give you much leeway there.
Nailed it.
I didn't. I had 3 minutes and we got off on some fucking dinosaur tangent. You know, I was planning on answering one more call. We tried too late. That's on me. That's bad hosting.
No, but you knew when Brian came on. You're like, ah, shit, all right.
It's actually a good conversation piece because I don't know what's happening in Seattle. And he said DraftKings is trying to get the casino there. So that might be a brick and mortar type situation where they haven't allowed mobile sports gambling yet. And I feel like we've learned more about that entire process than most folks, but not the entirety of it because there's a lot of shit that has to be at play because the amount of money and the future business that is involved in it all. The New York regulators, for instance, you know, I think reports are going to say FanDuel did pretty good in New York.
Oh, I
That's
bet.
a safe assumption.
Yeah.
Hey,
How many states is FanDuel in?
12, 13?
I mean, so eventually, though, they're going to be in 50, right?
Exactly.
Well, there will always be a couple states that hold off, right? They're smart.
But they're going to at least, it's easy to say they will easily double the states that they're in now, right?
I would assume. Yeah, I would assume.
So, like, what is the valuation of FanDuel when you know, like, they're making this much money and then they're not even in nearly half. They're in a third of the state. Like, come on now, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and they haven't gone public yet either. Flutter, the overall company, is public, but FanDuel itself has not gone public. I do not know if they're in 14 states. Zito just corrected me. I don't know if they're going public or whatever, but that's how you would get the overall valuation, right? Is whenever they list, you would be able to find out what they are worth. And I assume that number is going to be big.
A lot of room for growth.
There's a lot of room for growth.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's why I got to stay in shape. You know, I got to live forever.
That's right.
You know, the future is potentially rather massive for sports. Not that it ever wasn't going to be, but I mean, are we the luckiest group of people of all time? I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
I do a lot of that.
Yeah, just about.
Like, holy shit.
Absolutely. We all are.
I think so. I honestly believe that. I mean, I saw a shooting star last night over
Again?
over a lake. Yeah,
Wow.
might have been a plane.
It's because you got away from them city lights. You can see the stars.
Yeah, and I was like, airplane, night time, a shooting star. I really wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. And I looked at that plane that I wish was a shooting star, and I said, I don't need a wish, but I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being up there. Me and the man on the moon have been talking a lot throughout my entire life, right? It's the only constant. The moon's always there. And I do a lot of looking up, you know, hashtag don't look up. I do a lot of looking up and wonder how small we are in this world, and a lot of thinking and talking to those who have passed away in my life before. And all I ever say is, I am the luckiest motherfucker on earth. Thank you, whoever's up there doing it. And then I sit back down, get high, and pass out.
There you go.
And it's a pretty good little thing. I didn't tell that to the Bloomberg guy, but that normally eats up about a good 20, 30 minutes of the night too, pal. You know what I mean?
You should have told him that.
Well, then for 20, 30 minutes, I look up at the sky and say, why the fuck is all this happening to me? You know, and it's a pretty lucky thing, right? Make sure you quote that, sir. Make sure you quote that. Please.
Gratitude, like Aaron talks about, showing gratitude.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. A lot of people are like, nobody deserves it but you, pal. And I'm like, nobody deserves the amount of money that I'm getting right now, right? Nobody deserves what we're making right now. But the money's supposed to go somewhere, so I guess we'll take it. But it has been a very self-reflective time here over the last couple months. And I appreciate everybody dealing with me over the last couple months. Although I don't think I've changed much. I mean, there was a couple of moments, I guess, where I tell people to go fuck themselves, but I feel like I've remained the same. But in a couple of years, whenever I become insufferable, please let me know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Please.
Will do.
Please. Oh, will you? I never would have guessed, that you would.
Can't. I mean, come on. If you're not insufferable now, like, you're not going to become insufferable.
A lot of people think I am insufferable. I'm just saying for the people that don't think I'm insufferable, whenever that day does come, which is inevitable, please let me know. Please let me know. And I can't wait for it as the future continues to unfold. And what you're saying there about FanDuel is, in our eyes, pretty accurate as well. They're only in 14 states right now.
Yeah.
And, over the next 5-6 years, we assume there's going to be another 10 to 15 of them. And then you just think, wow, that's doubling their fucking business.
Yep.
And joining us now is a man who won back-to-back MVPs of the biggest league in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this man has home field advantage all through the playoffs up there in Lambeau Field. Green Bay Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
What's up, dude?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, we were just talking about me doing a lot of Be Here Now thoughts to myself about how lucky I am to be alive in the life that I'm living. And I think, that a lot of that might revolve around the conversations and the books that you've been pitching in my life, dude.
Well, you're welcome. But I hear it's more than that. I hear you've been playing golf with Tebow down in Florida or something.
Well,
working on that swing or what?
Well, I have been working on my swing, and I don't want to I'll put the ball in the green if I have to, and if there's a chance to get tackled by Tim Tebow after a great golf shot, I will absolutely, hopefully show up in a big one. You're an asshole. You are. The absolute.
It's what I heard. What happened?
Well, I don't know. Did AJ tell you that? AJ told you? All right, let's move along. We don't have a lot of time. You're in the middle of a work.
How you doing? Keep it moving.
Yeah, how you doing? Keep it moving. I wish I was there. I would have shown up for Tebow. If that was me, I would have done that and maybe get tackled into the water. Is there any gators in that water? I mean, that should be talked about going forward, but you're right.
Just the Lord.
Just the Lord in there and Lord Savior in there. Aaron, let's talk about this week. You're in the middle of a work day right now. You're playing on Saturday, so today is Wednesday. We appreciate some of your time. How's the vibe around the building? You're getting a lot of guys back. It's playoff football. This is what you work all year for. I assume the Packers team's ready to fucking go.
Yeah. It's been a nice week off. Got to watch some football. Guys got to get a little bit healthier, I think, and it's good to be back on the practice field. It was, kind of warm day out of practice, like in the, low 20s. After last Friday's minus 15 wind chill, it was, pretty brisk, pretty nice. But it's, it's good to be back at work. There's 8 teams left, out of 32 still playing. Fun to be one of those 8. Got to figure out how to be one of the 4 left after this weekend.
Hey, do you guys pay attention to all of this talk about how the Niners are the scariest team and they have the formula to beat you and all this? Is that anything that LaFleur or anyone even has to bring up?
I mean, I hope not. Look, it's the best 4 teams in the NFC are still left. We played 2 of them this season. It's all about how you're playing and how healthy you are late in the season. Those are teams that make the run. Niners been playing really well. We played them early in the season. When we were 1-1. It was an important game for us, and we pulled it out right at the end and at their place with a 51-yarder by Mason. They're a big physical football team. They got a lot of playmakers. A couple guys banged up on defense, so we'll see what's the status with those guys. But everybody's good at this time. Everybody has a recipe to beat everybody else. There's a reason there's 4 teams left, and it's these 4 in the NFC. Same in AFC. Everybody's got a recipe that they've figured out to win football games, and they're going to put it on the field on Saturday, and we're going to put our recipe and see who comes out on top.
Did you watch Wild Card Weekend? Do you watch all the games? Do you get trapped in that? Is it hard not to just start breaking down film and predicting who you're potentially going to play and might run into? And the 4 out of the 6 games being blowouts. Expected, not expected? Is there that big of a differential between the top teams and the bottom teams that are in the playoffs, you think?
Well, they wanted to obviously add a 7th team. The 7th team, I don't believe, is won yet. Since they've done that, obviously the 2 seeds are used to getting byes. They both had big blowout wins. I thought the other games were pretty competitive for the most part. 4 or 5 is always, kind of a pick 'em, it seems like. And it was division opponents on our side. So yeah, there were a couple good games, a couple blowouts, but we knew that our opponent could have the possibility of being determined on Sunday. And if that was so, we'd play Saturday. If not, we'd have the winner Monday. So either way, it'd be a 6-day week for our opponent, which is nice being the high seed and having to have them come to us. But no, it was, we're all football fans, I think, for the most part. So it was fun watching the game. There's definitely some interesting things that happened and interesting calls along the way, too.
By the refs and by coaches, I assume you're referring to, so we'll dive into that at some point. How come, in your eyes, you've been around the NFL a long time, played in a lot of big-time games, have won a lot of things, back-to-back MVPs. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Aaron's looking around. He's like, you guys don't want one of these? No. How about one of these? Last 2 years.
What?
MVP last year. MVP this year. Am I going back to waterfall jumping in the offseason? Probably. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, dude. But why do you think some teams have the ability to withstand the drop-offs that happen to a lot of teams late in the season? I mean, a lot of people are talking about the Cardinals, and obviously DeAndre Hopkins gets hurt. But what do you think it is about some teams that are able to win those close games or continue to go on and have success versus some of the teams that lay eggs? Do you have any thoughts on that and why that potentially happens?
I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Belief is one, for sure. Confidence, obviously, is a part of that belief. Mental toughness. There's some people that don't believe in mental toughness. I think mental toughness is kind of a broad term for a lot of different characteristics, like focus, like determination, work ethic, all these different things that kind of go into that ability to kind of put your best ball on the field and then get through adversity. Teams, I think that are still standing have all faced adversity throughout the season in various forms. The Niners have been in a playoff mode the last few weeks, obviously having to beat the Rams to get in, and then going on the road and beating the Cowboys. The Tampa Bay has obviously had a lot of injuries and dealt with their own adversity. Same with the LA Rams, who almost lost the division, went from the 2 seed to the 4 seed. In the last week of the season, playing the Niners. So I think the best teams that are left are all very strong mentally teams and teams that know how to win, these type of games. So it's kind of big boy football at this point, and there's 4 great teams left who all, have different ways of getting it done, and we're lucky to be hosting this game.
Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo, the opposing quarterback for the Niners, he's coming in. He's got a torn ligament in his thumb, and I'm just curious, have you ever had any issues with your throwing hand, not your shoulder, like your actual hand, whether it be broken fingers or torn ligaments, and how difficult that could be? And also, we're hearing the high is like 1 Saturday night in Lambeau, which means it'll be below 0 with wind chill. Like, also, how could that affect it? Can you imagine being out there throwing when your hand is messed up too?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be definitely something that'll be difficult. It's always difficult to throw when it gets really, really cold. If you have some sort of ailment with your hand, I would assume that would make it a little more difficult too. Farvey, I know, broke his thumb and kept playing, and would talk about, tell some stories from that year from time to time about how difficult it was to get your grip on a ball that's even slicker and feels fuller. But yeah, I broke my index finger, my first start of my career at Illinois. In the second quarter, we were running 750 Gator, and I came up to throw the backside post, and my right tackle was about 6'7", and I threw it and hit my hand on his helmet, broke my finger, and came to the sideline. I told Coach Tedford, "Hey, I think I broke my finger." He said, "I don't give a shit. You're not coming out." I said, "Okay, yeah, no, I wasn't saying I was going to. I just, want you to know that, I think I might have broke this thing." He said, "Just get out there." And then the next week he was great, and that's what I love about Coach, because he could always inspire me in the best ways. He said, "Okay, look, you might have a broken finger. You can miss 1 day of practice, and then if you don't practice the rest of the week, you're not playing." So here I am with a distal fracture on my index finger, and I got to sit out on I think Monday, right? And then Tuesday I was right back out there practicing, because that's what we do. So it definitely made it difficult at times to throw it. I think as far as fingers that would be most difficult, pinky and ring and middle are obviously less important than than the pointer and the thumb. So pointer and the thumb would definitely make it a little more difficult in the cold if they're banged up.
Hey, that turtleneck's coming out, huh?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be below 32?
Oh yeah.
Well, he's going to be below zero. I think.
Dickie. You wear the Dickie, right?
Oh, maybe wear one of those scuba suits like Mac Jones had.
Yeah.
One of those ones like this and Tom Brady has. You know what I mean?
What?
What? Go ahead, Ty.
Aaron, you guys playing them in week 4 already this year. Is there really anything you can take away from that game, like when you're preparing for this weekend, or is it kind of, that was so far ago, you guys are different teams now? Is there really anything like in the film or the preparation that you'll take from that week 4 game against the 49ers?
Yeah, Ty, I think you have to, because you have to look at the arc of teams. Teams will play certain ways throughout the season, and it's nice to see who's playing in that early time, how are they playing, and then look at games in the middle and then at the end to see if there's some sort of commonality about the style of play or the way certain players are playing or what type of coverages they're doing. Because every year a team is going to find those specific concepts or personnel packages that seem to work the most. It's just an analytics game now. You're going to see what the percentages are on if you're playing nickel or dime or base to sub or cross-matching or certain coverages or what type of pressures you like. And teams will, come up with tendencies both offensively and defensively on things that have gotten to this point. That's why when it comes down to these games, it's all about the execution in those moments and which guys can step up and make those big-time plays to get you over the hump.
And every single defense is one that you try to calculate in before every single snap a full calculation in your head? And how exhausting does that get?
I mean, it's kind of autopilot at some point with some of it, the calculations. And obviously, if it's a run play, there's a few less calculations. But, I think that the whole process is becoming an expert of what you're doing and then being able to see the other side of the ball and then be able to put it all together. And that's the growth of a quarterback from a young player to a savvy veteran. And once you get to the point where you can put it all together on every snap, then your mind is making calculations, but it, subconsciously almost, and you're kind of on autopilot a little bit with some of that information download and kind of stream of consciousness when you're out there. So, I mean, you're always evaluating situations, but you have to leave room. The most important thing to me, I think, is you got to leave room for those instincts. You got to leave room for the ability to react in the moment appropriately based on the visualization process, the study of your plan, study of the opponent, and then the reliance on intuition and feel and instincts in those moments.
So we talked to you a couple weeks ago about, you said you were just enjoying ball. Like, hey, you love ball, right? And then you talk about how if you change anything in the playoffs, that means you weren't doing things right all year long, and the Packers ain't going to be changing shit. All right? We ain't panicking or anything. But is there a different feel going into each meeting of this playoff week, especially for you with everything going on with the Packers? Is there a different feeling of enjoying every single moment? Not that you didn't have it before, but is there anything different in the playoffs for you mentally going in?
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, you're already trying to enjoy it. I think the right perspective is how special these opportunities are individually. Like I said before, there's 8 teams that are still playing. There's 24 that, are into their off season. That's pretty special. How do we make sure that we're one of the 4 that moves on after this weekend? Because then that's a special feeling, and we've been there many times. And then how do we make sure from that 4 we're one of the final 2? And give ourselves an opportunity to lift the trophy. So I think in the process of that, it's not bad to manifest those things, to think about those things, to imagine yourself in those situations, and also still having a great acute focus on the task at hand and how special this opportunity is and this moment and this game on Saturday night against a great opponent, a very well-coached football team with great players on both sides of the ball. So I think that's how I'm approaching it. I think we got good leadership on this team. It's exciting seeing some of the guys who are coming back and knowing how special they are and the impact they can have. And then, we just got to find a way to put it all together for 60 minutes with our guys who've been playing and our guys who haven't been playing as much.
Hey, how's the toe feel now after some time off? And also, are you ever going to let people know how you did this. I think Pat and I said you were kicking a heavy bag, and I think some people may have ran with that. I don't know what the case is, but I figured you're hiding it for a reason.
Well, you called Dr. Joe Rogan, and he said, well, you need to take the antibodies, you need to do this, and also beat the fuck out of a jiu-jitsu bag.
Yep.
That's what Dr. Joe Rogan does. That guy brings and he had this donkey kick I seen.
Spin kick?
Is that what happened, or was it a table? Was it a chair at the middle of the night you had to go pee because you're so hydrated?
So they ran with that, but they didn't run with AJ's statement about hurting it while I was smoking DMT with Dr. Joe Rogan. Isn't that what you said, H? I feel like at one point you said
that's still out there. You didn't deny it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas out there potentially, but will we ever know how it happened? And is it something that was just like middle of the night, stub your toe? Holy shit! Is that COVID toe? No, I actually just fractured my shit. Are we ever going to find out?
Look, man, I told you I didn't have COVID toe, and I heard it during COVID. So it was a COVID injury. COVID time injury, but not COVID toe. And I think that's all that needs to be said. As far as how it's feeling, it feels really good. There's still some achiness from time to time, but I think at this point I'm as close to 100% as I'm going to get for the rest of the season. So it's not an issue. I've been practicing every single day now. There's a little discomfort, but I feel good.
Hey, we appreciate you. We know you got to get back to work. You have an interview with Kay Adams coming up. She's very excited for it, obviously. She enjoys these segments massively.
That one's already done. That's in the can, yeah.
How'd it go? Did we get some good shit out of that? Did you sign an extension and tell her? Anything like that? We got any good stuff coming?
Well, you guys have ruined interviewing me, right? That's what Kay said.
Yeah.
Because I admit so much on this show to you boys. It's hard for anybody else to ask questions or to do follow-ups. What?
For instance, I hope she got how you injured your toe. That is an outstanding issue that we have not checked off the box. We can't wait to watch you and the boys on Saturday night. Good luck. Stay warm. We'll see you next week, brother.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Take care.
Hey, by the way.
Next week, we got a good book for sure. Oh, you read it? You've been reading it?
From the Book of Mark? Absolutely, dude. I've been reading little verses and some stuff all day. It's been amazing.
Did Connor break that down for you yet or not?
Yeah, we were actually just talking about the 3 subtleties, if you recall.
Oh, yeah, the 3 subtleties. It's not just like not caring, because that's a psychopath. And we're not trying to be a psychopath. We just got the subtleties of somebody that gives casual fucks as opposed to no fucks. Anyways, you've been dominating all year. Congrats on another MVP. Good luck this weekend. We can't wait to watch you. The best.
All right, thanks, guys. See you.
How'd you hurt your toe, dude? Hey, he hit something on the way to the bathroom. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be, right? Just like a random thing like that?
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to admit that?
Because, he was already getting a lot of shit because he was at home, because it was whole thing. Wow. If he was also fucking literally stub his toe while people were saying he was putting his foot in his mouth, I mean, that would have been an entire story in of itself.
COVID haze, COVID fog that he's in,
When really he's probably just stacking them up on his back and dropping 400, 500 pounds. Oh, shit!
Yeah.
Put him up again, dude. Actually, it's me because I'm all alone because it's quarantine COVID. Jesus, and I'm all by myself. Somebody spot me. Oh, you can't because I got COVID. What? Broke his other toe.
Yeah, maybe lunges with dumbbells. True.
What was his name? Corey?
Gregory?
Yeah, Corey Gregory. That guy lives and dies by the lunges.
Lunges, yeah.
He said lunges is how you get in the best shape, AJ. You know that?
Lunges are great for you.
He's your part of Dahn.
He's an Ohio guy. He was the founder of that one supplement that took over everything there.
Muscle Farm?
Muscle Farm?
Creatine?
No.
Creatine, back when Mark McGuire, was hitting those bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, who knows what Aaron did? I thank him for stopping by in the middle of his workday. He's probably going to a meeting right now, just got off the practice field. It's going to be high 22, low 0, 46% chance of snow up there. Lambeau's going to be Lambeau, and I think that is why I'm most excited.
I hope it snows. Like when it snows in Lambeau, that's also when it snows, it's not nearly as cold from when I played there. When it snows, it seems like the wind was down and it was just a magical place.
Hey, that's everywhere, by the way. Growing up in Pittsburgh, when it was snowy, it felt a little bit warmer for whatever reason. Is it just because your mind is just like, oh, this is cool, as opposed to just dry-ass fucking freezing cold weather cutting through your skin?
Yeah, I think so. When the winds start whipping around and there's no fresh snow falling, you're just getting blasted with snow drifts that are already there and stuff like that, there's nothing worse.
Oh, so there's no positive to this cold.
No.
I can't even put. And there's some places, by the way, that don't have snowball snow.
That's
they have
right.
super dry snow.
Well, that Oma Dome that you were just in,
Oh,
that looked like a combination of everything.
Hey, Omaha almost got me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was drifting off the road. I mean, that whole place was ice. We were just
Cold.
flying around out in the middle of nowhere, freezing cold, and somehow we took off.
Windy, snowing.
Shout out to the pilots. Thought I was stuck in Omaha for at least a week.
Yeah.
While I was driving through there, I'm like, oh shit! There's no way we get out of here. I almost slid off the road. Almost hit a couple people. I made it though. Shout out to those pilots.
Shout out.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. Green Bay weather for this weekend. 22 degrees, mainly cloudy with snow showers around in the morning. High 22 degrees. Winds west to southwest. Is that from west, southwest, or is it going towards?
Well, do some research.
I thought.
So
Is that an arrow under it? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've had this conversation a lot.
We have, yeah.
And
that night.
The night it's coming from the north then, right?
That means it's coming from the west southwest, right?
Okay, so that's during the morning it's coming from the west southwest, and then at night it's coming from the north, which means what? The north is coming, right? That's
right.
winter.
Exactly.
That's cold.
Bringing snow.
Yeah, bringing the snow there. 10 to 15 miles an hour. I mean, that's not zero. I mean, that's not zero.
That's right.
No.
That is a little bit of a whiff there.
Good moon though.
72% chance of.
You're talking about the
humidity.
warning gibbous, dude. Is that what you're talking about? The warning.
The waning.
The warning gibbous.
Waning gibbous.
What is that?
I believe it's a full moon, right?
A bit of a crescent.
Half.
No, the wolf moon was out the other day or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a wolf full moon. There was a full moon with a wolf. Something.
I'll do some research, but I think it's 3/4 of a moon.
The waning one?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for the waning moon all day and the night is through. It's not a full, but it's certainly there. Cold as fuck, wind coming out of nowhere. Yeehaw! All right, let's get out of here, dude. That was really cool. I had him stop by.
Yeah, busy day for him. Leading up to the playoffs.
Sure, probably had him on Monday. That would have been his Tuesday, but he's probably working.
You should have seen him when we called him. He was sprinting down the whole hallway.
Well, yeah, masked up. Probably had to get it far enough away from everybody so he didn't have the mask on.
Smart.
Very nice of him, looking out for everybody. Although we do believe the NFL ordered a bunch of negative tests.
Yep.
How do players take these ones?
What's
this
that,
week,
dude?
Eric?
What are you saying?
No.
You heard it.
You think
We don't have
Josh
anyone
Allen
on the COVID list, do we?
This is a joke. I do not mean what I'm saying, but it would make sense if the NFL ordered a bunch of those negative tests for the next couple weeks.
Maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
At least 8 of them.
Not that those are even possible. Not that
True.
that's even possible. I'm obviously not questioning.
Are they still testing like normal now?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought I did see a report though that said like, hey, if you guys have any negative tests, don't throw those away. Just put them in your locker. We might need those later.
What's funny, AJ?
Oh, God.
Obviously, no.
It's real.
No, it's just a report. I don't know if it's substantiated.
Who put it out
True. I can't remember.
Somebody on Twitter.
Yeah.
So,
They had a blue check mark.
They did.
Did they?
They did, because that's what made me stop. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, is it Darren Rovell or?
well,
Had a good weekend.
Was it Tebow?
Look at Ravel. Hey, by the way, Tebow coming in hot. I don't know what your deal is.
What happened there?
What is your deal?
guy stealing your stick, dude.
Dude, what is your deal? Aaron came in and just
You do that exact same thing to guys on the golf course. I saw it at Tahoe.
pick him up and dunk him in the gator field.
Tim picked him up and went in with him. I never went in with anybody.
It's very nice of you, Tim.
It's very nice of Tim actually to get like I wouldn't want to do that.
No, of course not. Oh shit. I've almost dropped this ball a couple times. This playoff football can't have that. Can't have this playoff football.
No, this program.
On this program. Tighten up, dude. Hey, Super Bowl week, we're going to be in LA. I think people are going to be able to come watch us live, I think.
Here we go.
So,
like people can just come in to Radio Row?
I am not 100% sure, but I do believe there is a crowd area in which people can get into. I don't know how the process is. I'm sure you can look into it on the internet. We just had a follow-up call with our fine exclusive sportsbook FanDuel this morning, kind of locking everything in. We followed up with like, hey, people are going to be able to come to this. Yes, people will be able to be there. We're hoping we get to see some people and make that week a little special. You know, going into the superb hour, then I'm not making the announcement. What? We have a special stream in the weekend too. We're having.
Oh.
Yeah. Whoa. I don't know what we're allowed to say. How we're allowed to say.
I was gonna ask.
You were gonna say so?
No, not gonna do it.
Okay.
Smart.
Yes, smart.
Good idea, Tony.
Smart. If we don't know the
Good
answer,
idea.
what you just did is the right answer. That is right. So hopefully everybody will come out and see us. If you're in the area, obviously be safe. You know.
Hey, I had to fill out my credential form for the Super Bowl trip that I got from either Phil or Bruce, and they made you upload a headshot.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I don't have any headshots of myself, so I think I end up dragging the
guest league
picture
photo?
from our same game parlay deal where I'm holding the
With the
gasket.
wings?
With the Eagles? With the
yeah,
wings?
I think
I mean?
that's going to be that's what my credential. That's what I sent in for my credential.
Okay, if it means anything, yours is like that. In mine, Zito just ripped a full body shot of me, and they put up. So our credential photos could be electrifying.
Sir, you can't come in. You have no wings.
But also, show your wings.
Well, there's like 9 people in my picture. It's everybody.
You didn't
It's not just me. Yeah, and it got uploaded. I'm like, I can't use that one. I got to try to find
That'll
something
get
else,
approved
and I
for
couldn't
sure.
replace it.
They do not have to approve us. By the way, I think
True,
we are
true.
all. We're kind of all acting like, we're going to be able to get in there. I'm not 100% sure that is the case, and especially when we're sending fucking bird-like pictures.
We might be set up just outside of Radio Row with a little minor, our own little setup on the street.
We have a rather big house. I think we're renting out there, so we could set up an entire studio there if we wanted to.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm. But Radio Row, young Jeezy watching.
People watching, yeah.
Kidding me?
Spectacle.
Especially in LA, there's going to be so many people walking around because they're all. That's the photo you sent?
Yeah, but it had all the other, it had all the FanDuel stuff around it and everything. It wasn't a black background.
Zoom in on just his head there, because that is a headshot, dude.
Yeah.
That is literally one of the best. That's what you look like right now on the Zoom call, by the way. That right there, kind of blended white face.
Yeah.
Right. I'll tell you what, man. I don't see any end in sight with this Zoom situation with FaceTime, how it's going.
What's going on? You and Tim Cook not on the same page?
No, I told you. Whatever happened, you update to this Monterey garbage, and it doesn't recognize everything else does. I'm talking through my mic here on Zoom. On my regular computer settings, it works. But then when you go to FaceTime, it doesn't recognize the mic.
So it's funny you say that, because I got the newest edition here. This thing stinks. This thing works worse than the last one.
Tim losing his
Freezes up so
fastball.
much.
Freezes up. I lose the FaceTimes all the time.
It's the iOS.
I get the triangle exclamation point more than I've ever gotten in my entire life on my FaceTime. Everybody knows I'm a big FaceTime guy.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm a big FaceTime guy.
biggest.
I'm either texting or I'm FaceTiming. And the FaceTime in this newest model has not been the greatest.
This wouldn't happen with Mr. Jobs.
No, I agree. Steve Jobs had somebody figure this whole thing out. But also, we are in Indiana. So
Yeah, true.
AJ needs to go get a
It could
computer
be
that's from this
could be
century.
the 5G.
Hey, I wish it was a computer that was the problem.
It is.
who is it? Is it you?
Feels like it.
All right.
Well, he said it works for Zoom.
What's
but
he
not
all right?
FaceTime.
What
It works for Zoom, just not FaceTime. As me and Z been going back and forth a lot
yeah.
last night and this morning.
I FaceTimed with AJ last night after he sent me some ridiculous text messages. I FaceTimed him. He was up in this attic sweating. He was trying to figure out the whole deal, man. And that's what he said. Trying to figure the way you just used the word deal. That LA deal or that Florida deal or that golf deal or this. It's almost like he uses that instead of gimmick. I'm trying to figure out this computer deal. I'm like, all right. Seems like you're doing great. What are we, 10 hours after the first failure?
on. My God.
You're still doing this whole thing? That's what happens when you live out in the middle of nowhere. You own the entire
It's
town.
not that. No, man. I'm telling you. Something's going on. I told you that.
Oh, yeah.
What is
Someone's
it?
messing with it. So for whatever reason, works for everything else. But FaceTime, it just says, nope, not going to do it.
Maybe it's the search history.
Oh, you got to clear your cookies, dude.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yep. That's it.
Could be, man. That's what they always say. Take the game out, blow on it, put it back in.
Take that USB drive you got from Len Waxman out of there and get rid of that thing. That's probably bugging it down a little bit.
Oh, you got that Epstein.
Hey, I heard
hand-me-downs.
Ghislaine is going to name 8 names now.
Ghislaine.
You guys nervous?
I assume people that run in your crowd potentially sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
But our crew is good. Our crew is never heard of
my
a
crew. I got a
delay.
lot of crew. A lot of guys sending me text messages where, hey, you think I'm one of the 8?
I don't know how you Illuminati folk work. dude.
I need a passport, AJ.
Number 5 pick in the NFL and all these golf tournaments representing the United States in the Ryder Cup. Oh my God, AJ's friends are sweating over there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It would be hilarious if we did know, one of the guys, if one of the names comes out, we know him.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Get him on the show.
might.
Need him on the show.
Well, there is one guy. He is in prison, and we don't actually know him, but he was in a club next to you.
Oh.
He used to represent the $5 footlong, I believe.
Jerry Fogle.
He was friends with Giz Lane?
We don't know Jared Fogle.
No.
Okay, we met Jared Fogle.
Know of him.
I don't know. Do you think Jared Fogle was flying around with Gil Lane?
I mean, I think there are a lot of names in that black book.
I mean, if you're Epstein, you wouldn't get the premier commercial superstar on your plane.
That's very true.
I don't know how Epstein works. He's still alive, right? We all think.
I thought Epstein was a Quiznos guy.
No, he's dead, right? He killed himself.
No, he's alive. I think there's a master.
Superior.
Epstein was. It's Quiznos subs.
Oh, he was?
Any coupon works.
Bingo.
Superior.
Quiznos, that's Italian, right?
I mean, it was good. It was delicious.
Yeah,
I loved when Quiznos came.
Toasted. Nice and toasted.
It was just a front for something, right? That's why they never made any money. They were way too good not to be successful.
They were delicious.
I don't know. They were everywhere too. And then
they
all
just-
of a sudden one day, we closed all 1,400 locations.
Yeah, actually, this was just a front for all the drugs we're selling in the back. Yeah, sandwiches were delicious. We agree. We ate them while we were packing all the drugs. Is that what happened?
Well, Quiznos would make sense too because the Q in their logo.
Dude,
Come on.
I'm just saying. All right, we're out of here. Hope everybody had an incredible Tuesday. Thank you to Aaron. Thank you so much to Ian Rappaport who joined us before his Bunny Hill skiing experience. We hope he survived. We hope he gets better. Excited to see him get back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Divisional playoffs.
Divisional round, dude. Boomer's puking.
Oh, Boomer's going to smack him in the mouth.
Jeez.
Puking?
He's just disgusted.
Fuming.
Sick to his stomach.
Hammer Dahn is in 15 minutes. We're back tomorrow with a glorious Wednesday. I think I'm doing Bussin' with the Boys Friday. That should be fun.
Okay. Here we go.
What time do you have to leave?
Okay, yeah. So you guys will finish the show 2 to 3.
Okay.
But we're going noon to 3. You guys finish the show 2 to 3. I'm going to hop in a plane, probably take off around 2:30. It's a 45-minute flight going to Central Time. I will be experiencing 24 hours and 15 minutes on Friday when none of y'all motherfuckers will. I'm going back in time. I'm landing back in time, dude, when I land in Nashville. No big deal. How you doing? Keep it moving. Then I'll head to the bus, do the thing, then head to the arena, knock out SmackDown, and have the time of my life.
T's and P's to your jet lag.
I hope I'll be able to battle through it.
I don't think you can. That's hard.
I'm excited to see that bus get on there.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Does it run or do they tow it around?
I think they towed it around the first. I'm not sure.
I think they still tow it around.
No, I think playoff Willie and those Air Monarchs have been underneath the hood, dude.
I believe it's a part of the warehouse now because they put an air conditioning unit from the warehouse into the bus.
Smart. I mean, we've been in the back of a box truck that didn't have any air conditioning.
They figured it out.
175 degrees in that thing. In the middle of
There was no air in there?
Louisiana. We're in Louisiana.
We did not think about the plans.
Boomer's never done that.
Well, Boomer didn't have to because Boomer works so hard he gets real studios.
Good point.
We get box truck studios where it's 195 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
That is a certain callus, though, that you get built up there. I don't know.
It's like shoveling
Boomer
snow.
go that mobile, though.
How about the entire thing collapsing 4 minutes before we go live and getting back up on air?
We left that morning.
What's that?
We left that morning at like 5 a.m. and flew there.
We're
and
almost
then it was
late.
just panic.
And then as
Traffic.
Great
and then
driver that day.
There's a great driver.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, I got you, he says. And then he goes on these side roads, kind of drifts us in like he's literally in Fast and Furious 2 or 3 or whatever it is, gets us there. And then we're told all the tech is failing. Okay, we're live in 4 minutes. And then I'm sitting there with a microphone getting mic'd up. The guy has my ear things in his ear. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he hands them over.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. This is disgusting, but we don't have enough time. And then as we're counting down to be live, there's 3 people sprinting out of the truck right underneath. And you are like, hello, good morning, beautiful people. Right into it. We had no idea if anybody was listening. There, there it is.
This guy.
Who is that guy?
He was a tech king down there.
Ty's uncle.
Ty is actually shoved in the back.
Yeah, right next to that
That
guy.
corner back there.
And there's a guy on his knees over there trying to fix
who's on his
something.
knees?
Well,
Someone popped up.
yeah.
He popped up.
What?
yeah, and Zito's right in this door right here.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm still.
somewhere back there.
Foxy, where are you? You in that? Where's Zito at?
Zito had eaten a lot of gumbo. He was lurking around back there.
No, I was in that one room because it was like the different part because I couldn't fit back there.
Yeah.
No fat jokes.
Whoa, Zito, easy,
Jeez.
dude. You're,
I
you're
Tony.
actually
I had
looking
fucking
good.
do it before Tony
Yeah,
said
but you're
something.
looking good. Well, by the way, you're looking great, Zito. Congratulations.
Good.
I've been riding a bike.
We all lost 15 pounds in that truck that day.
Good paint job on that door, though. No sweat on that door.
No, great paint job. Appreciate you guys for doing that. But also after that, we did 3 hours in there, sweat. Then I had to go to a production meeting,
Yep.
and then I did Thursday Night Football that night, and the game stunk. And then I flew home, and then we had a show the next day. That was an easy day.
Also, recorded a podcast.
Easy. Oh, yeah, we recorded another podcast. Yeah.
In the Thursday Night Football booth, no AC as well.
Oh, that one.
Easy day.
Great
Easy
national anthem on that game.
Yep.
Actually, it was a good game.
It was a good game.
Tulane and Houston. There was something at the very end. Last play of the game.
Last play of the game. A Hail Mary to a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that day took a lot out of me.
Was that when the drone almost got shot down?
Yes. You were told, if you put that thing in the sky, we will shoot it down. It's like, are you just going to open fire downtown New Orleans? Yeah, I will. I wish you would have put that thing up just to see how good of a shot they are. Imagine Zito.
Dodging them.
Bring it down. They're Zito's sitting right next to these cops. Got eyes on it. Yeah. They're Sir, bring the drone down. No, you're going to have to shoot it down. You said it, not us, dude. You're going to have to do that. Rules are interesting, but, those are those days that Boomer could have done twice and I could only do once.
You're right.
That's the Boomer difference, though.
That's right. I'm sure that show was really good that day. Our show.
Oh yeah, top tier.
I'm sure.
I would assume.
Your first words, I'm not sure if we're live right
No
now.
idea if we're live. Well, welcome to the show. And we're still kind of doing it now. I mean, just in a different way. But all those moments, taught us and we learned from. So when all hell breaks loose, we can still get through it. And without those days, we'd be nowhere near where we are now. From a basement to a box truck to a studio office that has people cutting their pubes around a urinal. That needs to stop.
Goddamn right it does.
Who is nervous? Someone's nervous.
It got real quiet in the entire office, I think, because everybody immediately started thinking of who they thought it was, and then we all started feeling bad, I think, for automatically blaming said person. And then we all kind of landed on Connor.
Yeah.
And Connor outed himself. I shave actually every single week, yeah.
That's right, I do.
Well, we appreciate you doing that.
Of course.
Thank you,
Clean.
And by the way, I will not be sending it to see who it is. I just want to let everybody know that we know who it is and stop doing it.
Knock it off.
We don't know who it is, though. If somebody would like to speak up on shaving their pubes in the office and not even thinking about cleaning it up, I would like to know if that person. Just say aye if it was you.
Bless you.
Hey,
Bless
you test my pubes right now, my friend. Let's do it.
Don't lie.
Put cameras in the bathroom.
We're not doing that.
Not in the stalls, just like
Connor's going to show up
sicko?
tomorrow with his whole body shaved, just like that guy.
No, I'd never do that.
Hey, I'm pumped for the igloo, by the way, to have fans in there.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Igloo's gonna be.
I'm pretty excited for that.
You said 52. It feels like you could probably have like 50 seats and then like 2 sets of bleachers like behind them.
Yeah, but then we got to deal with everybody.
Yeah.
But then you got to deal with you got to have enough bathroom space for everybody and trash can, like a lot of stuff.
Space,
Which we do, by the way. We are building it to have all that stuff. There is
Yeah.
bathrooms and trash cans.
I'm
and
saying there's a
stuff.
lot of people.
But we're going to have to talk to everybody.
A lot of dumps to handle.
We can do those drive-in things that we had at oh my god, like those porta potties, but the nicer ones.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah, the glamour.
I can't remember what those are called. Yeah,
the glamping John.
I think they're called the glamping John.
Yeah, there's like a urinal and a toilet in them. They're nice.
Yeah. We could definitely bring it in food trucks for people to eat.
Yeah, you could
Still
also
gonna have the towers with the Marine Scott snipers in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also have like
somebody on top too, SEAL.
Yeah, 50 cal.
People don't even know. I've been flanked by SEALs for the last couple of weeks. People just showing up and stuff. I got ninja like SEALs all around me.
That's right.
Big time protection.
And you'll never know who they are.
Ever. That's a lie. Everybody has told me I need security though. Stat.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. I got security, and I can't wait for the world to meet that person.
Hell yeah.
They're around all the time. You just can't
Those
see
people. You mean multiple?
Big guy or
big. It's the biggest, strongest, toughest of all time.
Yeah.
But he's a ghost. You'll never see him.
Never seen me.
Well, that's the thing. You could test him. It'll be the last thing you do because he's going to rip your throat out and leave you on the pavement.
Boom.
Boom.
Maybe he can figure out who's cutting their pubes.
Well, maybe. I mean, he likes to deal with bigger jobs, like whenever these autograph hounds just sit outside of our office and make me feel bad that they're scumbags.
Sure.
He's going to deal with that, I think, mostly.
Yeah. But when he does find out who's shaving their pubes, he's going to rip their prostate out.
It's McGruber.
I don't.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You having a prostate problem?
So it wasn't you. It feels like you've gone a little bit aggressive against it now, and I don't know. After watching Dateline a few times, you might be, he who is the loudest is the, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Don't fucking talk yourself into losing a prostate out of this thing. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm very confident in myself and the DNA test. That's why I'm pushing for it.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with it.
Question is anyone going to clean it up?
Probably not.
Well,
I'll stop up,
here's
I'll
the
do it.
situation. If you go clean it up,
Then you're
the guilty
probably
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating little sociological situation we have here. The study of humans interacting with other humans. What is going to happen?
I just want you to clean. I want you to clean up because then, if it happens again, then there's really a problem.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that it happens, maybe when you're not here. You know, because it seems like a lot of the things that happen in that bathroom.
I was gonna say you saw it as well, and
He
you
knows all
didn't
about
clean it up, AJ.
Yeah, and
damn
also,
right I
the
didn't
last
clean it
time
up.
you were
That was
here,
disgusting.
bags of piss, basically.
Right.
Jesus.
This
I
guy.
said I brought bags of piss with me.
Oh, Zoom call AJ.
Plastic shopping bag.
He's got an
Zoom.
obsession with our bathroom.
He was here right after the office got cleaned.
He was, wasn't he?
He was.
Hey, hashtag PMS Zoom AJ was trending, and Twitter had to write a description of what was trending and why it was trending. And I don't remember the exact words, but it was mocking your connection. It worked out perfectly. It honestly worked out to perfection. Viewers of the Pat McAfee Show fans comment on the poor video quality of Pat McAfee Show co-host and former NFL linebacker AJ Hawk on Tuesday's episode.
Good. Maybe that'll get FaceTime people, get them going in the right direction so we can figure this out.
We've talked about this a few times. Your biggest pet peeve when it comes to this whole world is looking and sounding bad. And now somebody at Twitter who's probably followed along AJ's show quality has brought down shit. I love that. I just enjoy that a lot. That's a beautiful thing. I don't know how many other shows can have that moment. We're very lucky for it all. We'll be back tomorrow. Can't thank you enough, AJ, Aaron, everybody. Thank you, boys, for your effort. Stop trimming your pubes in the bathroom, please, whoever it was. And when we get in the igloo, let's go ahead and try to continue to grow as not only a show, but as humans and adults, and members of society.
Well, not grow our pubes. Just burn your prostate.
All right.
Think about it.
We're back tomorrow. Cheers, AJ. Good luck with the FaceTime thing. We appreciate you all. See ya.